Tuesday, better known as a Lakers Celebration Tuesday. Jack,
come on,
lit. Presented by Michelob Ultra. What a night last night at Crypto.com. Do you hear the excitement in my voice?
You nearly dislocated your back doing a little
It was worth it. They're up 3-1. If it's tied 2-2, you don't dislocate your back.
You know who's not gutless the last two games? You know who has carried it?
Lonnie Walker.
Lonnie Walker, baby. Got full. Lonnie Walker. Your MVP. If we were doing an MVP of the last two games.
That's when you go sell Lonnie Walker jerseys like crazy, right after the game yesterday. Sell those damn things. Get those things moving.
You're talking like in the team store or out on the streets when the guys got the little carts?
Probably more out on the streets.
I don't know if they got a lot of Lonnie Walker inventory at the bottom of that
cart. Doesn't have to be official. Well, it doesn't have to be an official.
Were they going to scratch off Russell and write Walker over the top of it? Why not? Let's do it.
Yes.
What a game. Lakers now have a 3-1 series lead. We get ready for that knockout punch tomorrow night. Game 5 up in the Bay Area. We're getting you ready all day long. Keep checking back for all your Lakers talk today. And a live imaging Tuesday, which means we're going to try to work in a little fun and frivolity. But you know we got to hit the Lakers hard, Jack. Slee, did you get rest? I saw you last night as you were beginning the postgame show.
Yeah.
I was getting ready to drive back with Cappy, and I popped in. I said, Slee, what a game. Slee's like, how do we do it? I mean, he was stunned.
Shouldn't you know?
First off, let me just say this. To see Morales in a postgame, that's impressive. Chris ain't messing around here. I mean, to be here all day yesterday.
I'm ready to charter a flight for tomorrow.
And then basically, don't tell me that. I've been thinking like 39 different ways. All right, how do we do it? You get this, but then I got an Airbnb because I need an ISDN line. I mean, I don't know how it works. But that was pretty impressive yesterday. See you here, and then Cap just drives you home.
And I fell
How's the
asleep on
drive?
the
Well,
way home.
It does help when you have a driver. So did you? How far into the drive did you get before you were zonked out?
I was zonked as we left the garage. It took a few minutes to get out of the garage last night. It was packed, but
when Scott was waving the
with the little pass key,
he's out.
When the arm goes up, Chris goes down.
Not only this, the elevator in our building, he went to the elevator to go downstairs to the car.
Okay.
I said, I got to get my backpack and stuff. He said, I'll pull around for you. So I just have to, when the elevator doors open, he's sitting there in the caddy.
Wow.
Warmed up.
It's
ready to
a
go.
nice service that you've
It's
acquired.
a good service.
Is he standing?
Do you tip him?
I was going to say, is he
I think
standing
tonight I got to buy dinner.
next to your door already
No,
open?
no, he doesn't open the door.
He gets out.
That's
he runs
impressive.
around real quick, swings it open.
That's impressive.
It's not white glove service, but maybe one day. Anyway, let's get to it. Travis and Sliwa, a Lakers Celebration Tuesday right now.
Indeed it is. Thank you, Chris. And 3-1, Slee. You said, I don't think this is a 3-1 series. I said, I agree with you, Al. I don't think this is a 3-1 series.
Yeah.
It's a 3-1 series.
3-1 series.
It is a 3-1 series headed back to San Francisco. Game 5 tomorrow. Last night's game could have gone either way, much like Game 1. The thinnest of margins make it a Laker virtual lock. I don't know if I want to go all the way there.
I'll help you with that.
Along the way.
I'll help you with that as we go.
They're still a very dangerous sort of thing. It's like with a rattlesnake that's cornered in your yard. You got those tongs that you can kind of reach it. And you're going to be okay, but let's just be extra careful. Let's not get too close so that thing can get you. It was a great night for the Lakers. They turned a 10-point deficit into the win that they got. Lonnie Walker was awesome. Great defensive stops at the end. A couple of boneheaded plays from the Warriors. 20 out of 20 from the free throw line. Where do you want to start with all that? Because every last little one of those things led up to a 3-point win.
All right, I'm going to start with this. Denver or Phoenix?
It's on the list. It's on the list. You're going there?
Way too ahead, Sleep.
No, I'm just asking. I'm just saying what would be your preference? Would it be Denver or Phoenix?
The gods.
My preference.
You want them to go 7 games. I think we want them to go 7, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah. My preference is on winning Game 5. I think I'm going to stay right there. You do what you want. I'm going to stay in Game 5.
All right, so I do think this. There is yesterday's score. Yeah.
To answer your question.
That was perfect. That was the timing of that, too, where you, let it settle, and then it was Nuggets.
Not my first day.
All right, so I will say this. I'll say on last night, I just don't understand how the Golden State Warriors, it's not that it can't happen, but I really, really have a difficult time. I think I mentioned this to you yesterday, too. I said, if Lakers win, I think the series is over. I said it's a wrap, right? But I also thought the series was going to be 2-2 going back to San Francisco. Yesterday's game was starting to play out exactly what the Warriors want. Lakers only took 20 free throws. Now, granted, they hit 20 free throws.
I was going to say, it helps when you make all 20 of your 20 attempts.
By the way, do you ever remember having a Lakers game where they were, let's say they took more than 15 free throws, 100% from the free throw line. I don't remember a game. 20 of 20 and clutch free throws at the end.
Yeah.
And Braun and Lonnie and Schroeder.
I'm going back to game 1 where they make 26 of 29 or 25 of 28 or
25 of 29,
25 of 29.
Yep.
So that's 45
great
of
percentage.
49.
Okay.
That is an insane percentage.
They took in the last game, I want to say game 3, they took 37 of them. It was like 27 to 37. It was something like that.
It was more typical.
It was like 75%, I want to say, was their percentage. But I have a difficult time watching the Golden State Warriors. The more that I watch this series, the more of what they're trying to do just doesn't work against the Lakers. I'll give you an example of last night's game. You're going to come to a point. It was close. The game was close. Warriors scored 17 points in the fourth quarter, Trav. The Golden State Warriors scored 17 in the fourth.
Not nearly enough.
Lakers have something that the Golden State Warriors just can't depend on a night-in, night-out basis.
Size.
They get stops.
Yeah.
And the size that you're talking about has a lot to do with it.
Yep.
The length that they have has a lot to do with it. They could depend on more people. Steph Curry was amazing yesterday. Amazing. He had 31 points. It took him 30 shots.
I was going to say, not very efficient.
He had no help.
Yeah.
Clay is going to be hot or cold. More times than not, he's going to be cold. Andrew Wiggins is just barely giving you – he's giving you like 15 points a game.
He's not giving you what he gave you last year when you were the NBA champions. That's for sure.
Okay, then now you're – I don't know if panic is the right word, but I mentioned this to Michael. I said, Michael, for a team like the Golden State Warriors that needs 3 different starting lineups in 4 different games, there's a little bit of got to try something different.
Sure.
We got to try something different. The Lakers have had the same starting lineup the entire way. Lakers have played their style the entire way. They haven't had to do anything drastic or different. So I only set it up that way because it's just becoming more and more apparent that over a longer stretch of time, what the Lakers are doing are more sustainable than what the Warriors are doing. It's not that the Warriors can't win a game here, they can't steal a game, that they can't be in a game, but I'm just losing more and more confidence in the Golden State Warriors making this a real series.
Their ability to win 3 in a row is not 0, but it's close to 0 because of what you just said. The Lakers are better than the Warriors, not by a mile. It's not like they're
Agreed.
a lot better, but they are better, and for the reasons that you talked about, they're better defensively. What they do well is less likely to have giant fluctuations, right? They attack the paint, they get to the free throw line. These are the things
traditional.
You're going to get that just about every time. Now, maybe they make their free throws, maybe they don't. Maybe they get some calls, maybe they don't. We can talk about that. But the Warriors hit and miss on their shooting. Other than Steph, I don't know. Are they going to be hot or are they going to be not? And that's a big part of this. They're not dead. They're in trouble, big trouble, the ultimate trouble. But I'm not going to say that they're dead because they got number 30 on their team. Okay, that guy nearly did it by himself last night. I think that they're going to throw everything they have at the Lakers come tomorrow night. The Lakers used big minutes on LeBron and AD last night and on some other guys, so we'll see what the fatigue factor is. There's a lot of things going on. If they have life in Game 5 and they come back, now all of a sudden you're in the you better get this one situation, right? I think the Lakers are going to win because they're better, because they're bigger, because they're longer. Oddly, Slee, which I don't think this is something we might have said at the beginning of the series, they're deeper. They seem to be able to run more guys out there and get more guys out of the Lonnie Walker being the ultimate example last night, 15 points in the fourth quarter. They're just a little bit better. They're executing better at the end of the games. I know we'll talk about this in more detail, but the final play of the game, or not the final play of the game,
I know
but
what you're talking
the
about.
Draymond where he threw it away,
Yeah.
that wasn't so much just a turnover, which it was. The Lakers defended that perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron James knew where that ball was going when the ball's on the other side of the court. The ball's on the right wing. Clay's curling to the left corner. LeBron's yelling at AD, pointing at AD, you over there. Do not defend Draymond at the rim. And he goes there. Draymond's got Schroeder on his hip. He's not going to get that shot off. And he throws it right to AD. It was incredibly well executed. It was a bad play by Draymond in that I guess you got to go up or you got to go to plan B or whatever. The Lakers sniffed that thing out from the minute they started to run that action, It was an incredible sequence for them. They put the hot hand in the game. They left the hot hand in the game. D'Angelo Russell, probably the one thing last night, that wasn't very good. Who cares? They got the performance.
He was sitting next to coach
right. He
at the end of the game.
Exactly. They have the guy in there. Darvin Ham has done a good job when it comes to saying, okay, we're riding you right now. Okay, you don't have it tonight. You sit down next to me. Everything that needed to kind of, those 50-50 things that break, and you need to have a few of them break your way and a few less break their way, it has. And last night was a good example of it. They're up 3-1. It feels like they've got an incredibly firm grasp of this series, and they do. But 2 of these wins have been by the thinnest of margins. A couple of shots go down the other way, a couple of missed free throws the other way, and it's 3-1 Warriors. And I'm glad it's not. I'm thrilled the Lakers are, but this does not feel like a typical 3-1 where it's like whack, whack, whack. And you got 3 of them. 2 of these games could have easily gone against the Lakers.
This is why I disagree a little bit. I disagree on the, by the way, you said that Draymond Green, that final possession. How about the possession before it, where it's Anthony Davis 25 feet from the basket guarding Steph?
It was awesome.
Just incredible. But I go back to this. Steph doesn't look like he has. By the way, they could have ran 50 different plays. I don't know why Steph is saying, I'm going to go up against Anthony Davis one-on-one.
And try to shoot over the top of him.
Maybe call a screen, get AD off of there.
Paint.
Maybe go to the basket. Anything. Anyways.
Which is what was working all the rest of the night.
And I think it was just, put it this way, if you're asking the Lakers, hey, do you want Steph having to take a shot over Anthony Davis from 28 feet away? Steph is so dangerous. He's so dangerous. But you take your chances with that. So the Lakers defense. But I don't know if I agree that the series is as close as you're mentioning it. Okay? And I'll tell you why. I think there's certain things that the Lakers are doing, and we could do this coming up next, but I think there's certain things that the Lakers are doing, at least in my eyes, over these last 4 games, these first 4 games. Good teams find ways to win at the end. And there's something that the Lakers have done at the end of these games that I give them a lot of credit for that maybe we didn't think was going to be the difference in the series. We can get into that coming up next.
We'll do that straight ahead. It's Travis Lee, 710 ES.
indeed. Quarter after 10 a.m. Yes, it sounds so good, Shania. Is this Shania? It's not Shania. It's Leanne Rhymes. Yeah. As I said it. Darn it all. It is
I'll be honest with you. When you said Shania, I was like, okay.
Sounds good to
me.
me.
Yeah, it was. Shania's still putting out hits.
Nice song.
How do I live without you, Lonnie Walker? It is a Lakers Celebration Tuesday on a live Imaging Tuesday. Thanks to our friends at Michelob Ultra. Party, party, oh party, all day long. So don't touch the button, yo. And if you go in somewhere that doesn't have a radio, you know what you do,
No problem.
You get the all-new ESPN LA
No
app. Search
problem.
ESPN LA in your App Store or Google Play. Download, tap, bam!
I saw it coming this time, Al.
You've got 710 ESPN in the palm of your hand, right in your ear. Meanwhile, we got a giveaway, right?
We do.
Don't be scared of the energy.
I'm not scared of the energy. I'm scared of having ruptured eardrums.
Here, hold on. As our old friend JT the Brick would say,
yes.
Match my energy.
Match my energy.
Go ahead.
We do have a giveaway. We are giving away a great summer getaway. It is Sliwa and I's pleasure to give you a chance to win the ultimate summer getaway to Surf and Sand Resort in Laguna Beach. It is off the charts. It is a great spot. Here's how you win. When we give you the heads up, you're going to want to call us at 877-710-ESPN. And if you are the right caller, you will get a $50 gift card to the Splashes Bar. I know it well. It's a great spot. And you will qualify for the grand prize, which is a 2-night stay at the Surf and Sand Resort, a couple's spa treatment, dinner for two, and beach activities. Relax, unwind, and rejuvenate oceanside at Surf and Sand Resort. Peace of mind guarantee.
Surf and Sand's a great place. You know, our old friend Haley Stevens, she used to work there. Remember her?
As did Bobby Rogers.
And Bobby Rogers.
Yes.
So that's a jam-packed place. Great place. So
What if I just start calling while you're like, all right, caller number 7. Why is Slee over on the side? Nothing.
Have you been to the bar at Splashes, Chris?
I have, yeah.
It is quite a spot.
It's quite a spot, Slee.
It
it's
is.
not. I don't really fit in as well as Travis fits in.
Got it. Yep.
Down there.
Yep.
If I'm with my friend Lisa, you know, a sexy classy, as her license plate says, I fit in a little bit more.
Yeah.
Or if I'm with Travis,
Just come
I fit
with
in.
me.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
But if I'm there by myself, they're like, you can see people like talking into their wristwatch and their earpiece.
Trav, what do you do
you'd be
if,
fine,
if
Slee.
you're bringing Chris with you? Do you give them a heads
I
up?
just let them know. I just go all good and say, hey, guys, I'm coming down. Got my buddy Chris with us. It's all good. We're going to be fine. We'll have a nice time. We'll sit there, have a couple of martinis, stare at the ocean.
He
We'll have a
walks
great
in.
afternoon.
He's giving like signals.
For the table.
Is that him? He's good.
They're
We're
like,
good to
can
go.
we see his Schedule C, please?
You'd fit right in, so you should come down. Maybe before the barbecue that I'm going to throw.
I mean, just get me down to Orange County, invite me down there, and I'm in.
We'll see.
Travis and
I know.
Sliwa continues a Lakers Celebration Tuesday right now.
Thank you, Chris. It is just it's a celebration of Game 4 and the win and being up 3-1, but it does feel like you can start to
When does round 3
inflate
start?
the balloons, right? Put them up in the rafters, get that net or whatever it is that you do to hold them up there. You were starting to say at the end of the last segment that I was making the point that the Lakers are going to win the series. They're up 3-1. When you're up 3-1, what is it? Something
Just
like
say it.
95%.
95%.
But there's 5%.
5%, and the Warriors are not everybody else. So I do think, and two of these games, Game 1 and Game 4, were a couple of missed free throws away or a couple of made threes for the Warriors away. It's not like this was a 10-point win. We're talking about two very close games. And I do feel like there is still a lot of basketball left in this series. I'm not ready to slam the door on it.
So I really thought the series was going to be closer. I thought it was going to be more competitive. And I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. It's not that every game's a 25-point win by the Lakers. Game 1, I think you and I both said it right out the gate that we felt if the Golden State Warriors would have won Game 1, they would have stole that game. And we were talking about how the Lakers didn't steal a win in Golden State. They won. They played better over the course of 48 minutes. Now, did they almost lose it? They did. The Golden State Warriors went on a 14-0 run. Game was tied at 112. Couple of buckets there, a couple of free throws. Lakers won that game. But I felt like the Lakers should have won Game 1. I didn't think that was
It wasn't a fluke.
It wasn't a fluke. They should have won Game 1.
I agree with that.
I thought last night, there was – so that was one of the close games. Last night, I thought there were moments for the Golden State Warriors to win that game. Plenty of moments. Fourth quarter, the Lakers entered the fourth quarter down 7.
Was it not 10?
I think they were down 7 because they were outscored. They won the quarter by 10.
Okay.
And they ended up winning the game by 3. They gave up 17 points in the fourth quarter. That's now 2 games in a row where they had a stretch in Game 3 where they gave up a total of 37 points in 2 quarters. They gave up 17 points in the fourth quarter yesterday.
Crazy.
Lakers get stops.
They do.
And if there's one thing that I think is also inflating my chest of, no, I think the Lakers are fine in this series. Listen, it is the Warriors, you're right. To take out a champion, you got to really bury a champion. There is no, the Golden State Warriors are just going to bury themselves.
Emily put it great this morning. She goes, you need to double tap those guys. Shooting them once is not enough. That once they're down, go over and give them another one.
Which you're not wrong. By the way, ruthless. But I get
I'm
your
just
point.
saying.
I know your point.
You don't think she'd put 2 in the back of our heads if she needed to?
I do
she wouldn't
think
just
she
give you
would.
one.
Apocalypse.
It would be boom, boom.
I think she'd
boom,
do
boom.
one, and then she'd come back in a half hour. Finish it
But
off.
you could be like the Russian in the woods in The Sopranos. You could get away.
That's true.
Exactly.
That's why you got to get them twice.
Yes.
So the reason why I say why I'm comfortable with the Lakers closing out this series, Trav, they're not doing anything special. I just think they're a better basketball team.
I do too.
And so when I start saying who do you want in the next round, Phoenix or Denver, I get it. I know the Lakers have to wrap this thing up. But this Warriors team also doesn't look that impressive to me. There are a lot of holes for the Golden State Warriors as well. And yes, they've had some players struggle, but I think the struggles that they're having has more to do with the Lakers than it has to do with their own struggles.
So Big E writes, Slee asking Phoenix or Denver is the equivalent of Taylor shaving the playoff stash. Please give the gods a peace offering in the name of Slee's blunder.
I refuse, Big E.
Thank you.
We'll see.
Refuse.
I hope that doesn't
We'll
bite
see.
you in the ass.
Yeah,
Lee.
that'd be a real
Hope
shame.
it doesn't. Yeah.
Guys, I did put Lakers Warriors after Lakers loss against Memphis.
You did.
So
You did.
I've been kind of, the gods and I have had some interesting conversations.
laughing in
I
their
agree
face.
with you, what you're saying, Al, about how the Lakers are not doing anything special. I agree. They're not like shooting.
They don't have to do anything special
45%
to win.
from 3. I agree with you. But what they're playing well, right? They're playing well, which is not special. It's just they're a good team, and they're playing like it right now. The reason I think it's closer than you do at this point is because the 2 games that never mind the 2 blowouts are the 2 blowouts. You can kind of
Each
put
one
those
got
in a
one.
separate category. The 2 games that have been close, both of which have gone to the Lakers, thankfully. They weren't even they were a possession or 2 away. It's not a bad quarter. The Warriors did have a bad quarter last night, 17 points, like you mentioned. But Steph made a bad decision not going to the basket, right? He made that weird turn where he throws the ball over his head. He decides to take a long 3 over a 7-footer that's heavily contesting it
one.
right there, down 1. There were some decisions there. The Lakers were 20 out of 20 from the free throw line.
Yeah.
You go 17 out of 20, they're probably still paying. 17 out of 20 is a great night.
That's
That's
85%
It's
or whatever it is, yeah.
85%. It's an incredible night. So you have these really well-played nights. Darvin Ham made great adjustments. You got a great contribution from a role guy in Lonnie Walker who scored 15 points. All of these things, they're not doing anything extraordinary, but all of the little things are kind of breaking their way right now. They're shooting at a higher percentage free throw rise in the games that they have to. Role player contributions. AD was not great in the second half, but was really good defensively towards these games feel very, very close to me. So while I think they're going to win, I'm hopeful that they're going to win. I've seen 2 games that did not fill me. I'm thrilled they won, but those could have easily gone the other way.
And, okay, I'm just going to lay this out here. This has been a lot of optimism today, which I think is deserved after a win. But what if we play it out? So the next game, Game 5, it plays out like Game 2, where the Lakers see the writing on the wall, sit everyone game in the third quarter. The game's kind of out of hand by the time the second half rolls around. Then the Warriors steal one in L.A. We know that L.A., they have been undefeated at their home court this postseason, which is a great thing. But this is a veteran team on the Warriors with a great coach that could steal one in L.A. And then Game 7, are you really thinking the Lakers are going to beat the Warriors in San Francisco in Game 7? There is a path for the Warriors to come back from this.
Ifs there.
I'm just
There are
saying.
a lot of ifs there. And
There
not,
is possibility.
But
you're
the
not
ifs-
you're not wrong. And can I say this, that I guess here's the ultimate question. Are we giving the Golden State Warriors too much credit for what they've done in the past, or are we saying what we're saying from watching what we've seen all postseason? Can I give you their record in the playoffs so far?
Yeah.
They beat the Sacramento Kings in 7. They're down 3-1 to the Lakers. So right now they're sitting at, I want to say 5-6 is their playoff record. They were about, for most of the part this year, kind of hovering around that 500 mark. Okay, they're 5-6 in the playoffs. The Lakers took care of the Grizzlies. They got 3 games right now. Lakers, I want to say, are 7-3 so far in the postseason. Lakers are winning a lot of these close games. They're winning a lot of grind-out games. I think sometimes we get caught up in it, because I do too. This is why we picked the Golden State Warriors over the Sacramento Kings. Part of it was Sacramento's inexperience, but the other part was, guys, it's the Warriors. They're the defending NBA champions. And we keep trying to tell ourselves and remind ourselves, this is the defending NBA champions. They're not playing like the team that they were playing. They're not playing like the champions they were last year. Maybe they could. Maybe that switch can go on at any time, but just based on what they've shown so far in the postseason, they have not been that impressive. And that's, I think, the thing that I take away from it.
I think that's fair, and I think it's right. The other part that I would add, though, is I don't think it's a mistake to factor in what they've done previously. I don't think that's a mistake. The same reason that...
Are we inflating it, you think?
Maybe a little bit, but I don't even think that's a dangerous thing. I think one of the secret weapons that the Lakers have right now, up 3-1, is that LeBron James is in their locker room, and he's telling them, guys, I was on a team that was down 3-1. In fact, it was basically that team that we're playing against right now. It can be done. It takes one moment in one game. One guy gets Draymond with his leg flail, right? Gets kicked out of the game. That this stuff can happen, and it can happen fast. And the reason it happened with the Warriors and the Cavs a million years ago is because that other team had a dude named LeBron James who went nuts, went absolutely nuts, and ended up winning the series. I'm not saying Steph is LeBron, but Steph is probably a really good representative. So if number 30 goes nuts, look out. And there is precedent for him going nuts. There is precedent for him just saying, this is the way that it's going to be, and it's going to happen. It's not a great chance. The Lakers are in a terrific spot, but I don't think saying, I've seen what they've done. Clay get hot 3 games in a row? Sure he can.
Can he?
Yes.
I don't know if he can.
I think he can.
I don't believe he can.
I think that he can. I think that those two guys winning 3 basketball games in a row, even against a very good team like the Lakers, is not totally out of the question.
Steph could go for 50. We saw it.
No doubt.
It's on the Kings game.
No doubt. That these are really scary. Of all of the teams in the league, this is the team that would scare me the most down 3-1. You're saying, I want a 3-1? Yeah, of course. All of these things. I don't have the shovel out yet. I want them to be fully dead before I feel great about talking what's happening next.
I don't disagree with the Warriors can be dangerous. I don't disagree with can they win. If there is a team out there that can come back from 3-1, I agree it can be the Golden State Warriors. I don't disagree with that. Maybe I'm just, after watching 4 games, I feel like there's a blueprint that the Lakers have.
Sure.
They're not changing who they are. They don't need to change who they are. And it feels like the Golden State Warriors are, let's try this, let's try that recipe's not working, that recipe's not working.
They're searching.
To have 3 different starting lineups in 4 games, I think says a lot. And again, is the series over? It's not. But if I ask you, Trav, you got to pick one team or the other.
No question.
Now,
no question.
Now, can they, if they put themselves in a position where it's Game 7, if the Lakers found a way to trip themselves up for 2 straight games, and it's Game 7 going back to Golden State, yes, that would be incredibly scary if the Lakers to be in that position. I don't feel like it's going to get there.
All right, so one last point of pessimism, and then I'll let optimism run its course here, okay? So, there is a dog on the internet who has been predicting on TikTok the results of series across football, across sports. Okay, so he's been doing it for the Lakers and Warriors. This little corgi, his owner would throw him a ball. Corgi would butt it with his nose, and then it would fall into one of the baskets. Okay, so it has accurately predicted all the games going forward in the series so far. So it predicted
it's 4 for 4.
It's 4 for 4 so far, and it predicts
corgi.
The Warriors will win in 7. Okay, I'm just putting
now
it out
what,
there.
Sliwa?
Putting it out there, the corgi's got it.
I genuinely don't have a response to the corgi. I was not prepared for that. So
you did not factor in the corgi.
If that
factor.
happens and that plays out, then that would be a little frustrating.
Here's another thing that could potentially be.
We should ask Darvin Ham.
Does he know about the corgi? There's your first question for when you get him on your show. What about the corgi, Coach Ham? What are you going to do about that? Minutes, lots of them from both AD and LeBron. Mike Greenberg it's kind of a crazy idea, but it's not as crazy as you might think. That's coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710.
Well, 3 Dog Night, yo.
Leanne Rhymes.
Come on, man. Live Imaging Tuesday is on.
Lit.
On a Lakers Celebration Tuesday, thanks to our friends at Michelob Ultra. I had some Michelob Ultras over the weekend.
Oh, yeah, you did.
It's nice.
Yeah, you did.
I think I had one last night, too, during the game.
2.6 carbs. Nothing.
Nothing. You can have 14 of them and still feel good.
Be 29.4 carbs.
You know what's not bad on a Sunday? I like a nice michelada. I like to make my own.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But I love it with Modelo, of course. We love our friends at Modelo. But you swap in the Michelob Ultra, still good. Still good. When you have that Sunday morning
right there.
michelada and a cigar
Do you
after
like
church.
the tahini around the rim?
I put my own tahini, but I put it in.
Both.
And you put a little Worcestershire sauce.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Bam! Squeeze a fresh lemon?
No.
No?
No.
Why not?
Because I have
Brighten it up a little, Chris.
Lemon sounds good.
Every
That sounds good
morning,
in
you
there.
realize, every morning,
You
hot
use
water,
lemon water.
lemon, tiny bit of red cayenne pepper, and then a little kosher salt for hydration. You mix that together. So I've already got a lot of lemon in my life.
I didn't factor in the cayenne pepper lemon cocktail.
Salt for hydration?
Yes,
need
absolutely.
that.
You want basically kosher salt or sea salt out of the gate to get your body hydrating out of the gate.
Science!
Because you wake up dehydrated when you're
I
sleeping.
thought salt dehydrates.
Not at all. That's a myth.
That's a myth, Emily.
Okay,
Come
sure.
on.
Yeah.
It is.
This corgi thing is throwing me off.
Well, hold on. When you go to the hospital and you're dehydrated, what do they give you an IV of?
Sodium
Saline
Sodium.
solution, yeah.
Yes.
Sodium.
and sodium.
So that,
Bam.
Trav, you're playing your old game where you're smarter than everybody. How does that
not
work
my
for
old
you?
game.
How does that work for you
What are you
usually?
talking about?
I'm just gonna
Okay.
go drink some ocean water.
Why
and
is
see how
no,
I
no,
feel.
no,
That's different.
That-
You don't
yeah,
want
don't do that.
That will dehydrate
That's
you.
Take a
gonna
couple
make you
gulps.
sick.
Every time I go to the ocean, I take a couple
That's
gulps.
going to make you sick.
Yeah. You done?
With what?
What's the time's the game time tomorrow night? For game 5.
7 p.
7 p. tip, which means tomorrow night coverage begins. See how I did the math? At 5:30 p.m., the Toyota Lakers countdown to tip-off. Tomorrow will be a Lakers game day Wednesday, so you won't want to miss any of it as we go for that knockout punch. Will it happen?
What if, by the way?
The
what
knockout?
What if they just handle business tomorrow in San Francisco?
Can you imagine?
And I only say that
Because
If
you're
they
getting a
win
little...
that series in 5 games.
Who would have thought Denver and Phoenix are tied to a piece? The chances of them now extending that series, even if Phoenix wins the next 2, but you might even actually find yourself in a position. Okay, let's say they take care of business on Friday, Game 6 here, Lakers, right? You're probably going to get a couple days off before you start that next round. Yes, you won't have home court, but you haven't had home court the entire way.
They are in a position that I didn't even think was. Never mind that they're in the second round. Never mind that they got a really good chance to go to the third round, but that they're up 3-1 on the defending champs. I thought they could win the series. I didn't think they'd win it in 5 games potentially.
But you know who did?
Who?
One playoff Sliwa. And that's why we can't...
That's not
no,
true.
No, because he has the guts to believe and have hope. He's not somebody who just is always on the negative side of things like you. Because at
Just
the end of the
because
day,
he couldn't pronounce sodium, now he's going to go at me
You
because you
don't
mispronounced
believe-
the
This is
word.
getting ugly.
you don't believe.
Believe what?
Okay, you don't have the imagination that little Mickey did during Phantasmic to believe in a brighter
Steamboat
day.
Willie.
And ultimately, you know what you are? You,
Gutless.
my friend, are gutless.
I know. I've been told before.
Lakers in 5.
Slee had
Not a
Lakers in
chance.
7.
That's it, Lakers in
But-
5.
The
We won't
Lakers
let the
are not
facts
winning
get in the way.
tomorrow. There's no chance they win tomorrow.
I wouldn't say there's no chance, Em. I
They
really
already
wouldn't.
won a game up there.
Yeah.
But
I lean with you that
Yeah.
if they're going to wrap it up, they would do it in Game 6 here.
All right, I want to play this. This was Mike Greenberg on his show this morning. And I think what he's saying is taken to the extreme and taken way too literally, but I think the underlying message of what he's getting at is interesting.
It's like in baseball, where you save your pitcher for the one game you need to win. You don't have to win 5 games in a best of 7. You only have to win 4. Again, I don't want to sidetrack the conversation. Well, sure I do. I'll sidetrack the conversation. They're not winning Game 5 under any. The Warriors are the hearts of a champion, going home with their backs to the wall. The Warriors are winning Game 5 no matter what happens. I'm playing this thing to try and win it in 6.
Okay, so what he said is they're not winning this under any circumstances, that the Lakers are not winning this game or the Warriors are not losing this game no matter what. That's not true, right? The Lakers can absolutely win Game 5. They absolutely can. Like you just said, they've already won a game up there.
They
have
play
shown-
defense.
They play defense,
Yeah.
and they're playing better than the Warriors. So it's not this, they're never going to do it. That being said, the Warriors are probably going to be the favorites. So whatever they have, they're going to throw at you. All of the things that we know. If you're Darvin Ham, are you hypersensitive to the minute situation going into Game 5, knowing that you have 2 shots, specifically Game 6, right, at home, where you haven't lost a playoff game, where you've looked really good along the way? Are you in particularly sensitive to the minutes on AD, on the minutes on LeBron? And look, Austin Reaves, who was much better last night, he's even talked about how this is like 3rd college season in a row for him. He's at a point in the season where he could use a little bit of a breather. If this is in the middle of the 3rd quarter, a 15, 16-point game, do you just kind of say, all right, that's it for tonight. We're going to keep our guys rested as best we can for whatever's coming up on Friday? Is that at least in the back of your mind?
Can I give you a good example? Game 2, Lakers got blown out in Phoenix, or I'm sorry, in Golden State, right? Mm-hmm. And the question there, I remember actually you texting me. This was late in the 3rd quarter, and you're like, "Hey, I'd take these guys out now."
Yeah, right.
4th quarter, start of the 4th, none of them touched the floor.
Yeah.
Okay. I think the Lakers will play this, and I think this is the right way to play it. You can't just walk into Game 5 and just say, "Guys, you know what? Golden State's not going to lose on their home floor."
Of course not.
And the last thing you want to do is give a team an opportunity, especially a team like the Golden State Warriors, start giving them some life. That's what happens. And I think how you lose is also important. I think if the Lakers are down 20 going into the 4th, yeah, I get it. I understand. You're up 3-1. Sit your guys. Let LeBron. If LeBron and Anthony Davis can play 30 minutes instead of 41, cool. Go ahead and take advantage of that. But I will tell you this on the rest portion and the Steph is amazing. The guy's running all over the place. It's incredible how he has his stamina and everything else. Steph looked winded at some points towards the end of that game. Clay played 40-plus minutes. He's looked winded at the end of that game.
I agree with that.
You know how many minutes Jordan Poole played yesterday? 10. They're not even using Jordan Poole.
He's been bad.
I saw something. He was talking to reporters. He had his back turned to reporters. He was clearly upset that he's not getting PT in some of these certain situations. The only reason why I say all that, it's not like the Warriors are playing perfect basketball and they can't be beat in Game 5. They can be beat. But I think the smart thing to do, I remember there was a caller that called in. This was the Memphis Grizzlies game. There was a Game 5 there, and then Lakers eventually came back and won Game 6. And what the caller was saying was, you shouldn't play LeBron and Anthony Davis in Game 5. I said, can you imagine what would happen if you decided we're giving you one game, we're not even going to try, and then we're going to put all our eggs in this one basket in Game 6?
No.
I think there's a strategic way to do it, and I think Bron and I think Anthony Davis, I think Darvin Ham, there's probably this conversation going on. If it's a 8-point game and we're going into the fourth quarter, we still have a shot to win this thing.
Yeah, for sure.
If it's an 18-point game, all right, there's probably a good chance you're not going to win this thing.
That's the secret sauce, and I don't know what the number is and how much of the game has to be left to be played. Right? I don't know if it's down 15 halfway through the third quarter. I don't know.
I don't know if there's a number. I think it's more of just a feel.
I agree with you. I agree. It's a very art, not a science. You're going to have to feel your way through it because what you can't do, and again, I think Greenberg was being hyperbolic for all the obvious reasons, but you do not want to give them life, right? That there's one thing if it's just kind of a routine that they win, it's their turn to win a game, their home floor, et cetera, and they win, okay, that's fine. But if you actively disengage because you're trying to set up minutes for Game 6, that literally is
playing
thumbing
with
your
fire.
Nose at the gods. You're playing with fire. Like, oh, really? Okay. And again, these are the Warriors. They don't need a ton of extra motivation and all these things. I just think that you can't trick off a game intentionally or quasi-intentionally. Play as best as you can until the game has been decided for you, but just be really aware of when the point in that game might be, because it may be in the middle of the third quarter. It might not be until 7 minutes to go in the fourth, which at that point, that's fine too. That's 7 more minutes that those guys don't have to play. That's 7 more minutes that you can have other players absorb, and you can start getting ready for Game 6. But this idea of, well, I'm just going to keep my powder dry for a Game 6 at home,
I'm not all right with that.
That's a bad plan.
They had some moments yesterday where, watching Bron and Anthony Davis, AD did not. It's not like he was doing anything special on offense in the second half. He wasn't.
Far from it.
Okay, LeBron, every time he fired up a three was, for me, just another indication. Guys, I'm tired.
Couldn't agree more.
I don't know what you want me to tell you. I'm
Couldn't
tired.
agree more.
And I hope I could hit this three like somebody hits a three in a gym where you're playing half court and you're like, I'm not going inside the 3-point line. And however you want to look at it, right? They had moments like that. The difference for the Lakers, I thought, yesterday is it's kind of funny to say it. Lonnie Walker has fresh legs, right? This guy didn't have a problem with that. Dennis Schroeder is going to have fresh legs. They had other guys that can – you just mentioned Austin Reaves. There were moments in the game that if Austin Reaves or Lonnie Walker are not hitting those shots, I don't think LeBron and Anthony Davis had another gear to say, well, we were just saving this little bit of gas left. I thought they used already what they had. So to go into Game 5, I think you're strategic like you were.
Austin Reaves got off to a very weird start last time. Oh, boy, this is not good.
He looked bad.
He looked terrible in the early part of that game. He got going in the second half a lot better. Lonnie Walker saved the day.
I'll say something because Reaves talked with Michael and John after the game. And the question was, you didn't start out very well. What happened? How come it changed? He said that LeBron and Anthony Davis kept telling him, you have to attack. Like we don't have another option here. We're doing what we can. You got to go. Darvin Ham said something at post game as well, basically telling him, it's going to sound a little dramatic, but it's kind of on your shoulders in this stage of the game. We need offense. You're kind of the only one right now that we think can give us offense. Hit a three, got to the free throw line, and went from there.
Hey, did you see with Taylor Smith? Coming up next, it's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN. But before you go, how about this? Summer is here, and
Travis and Sliwa, and it's time for the segment we do around this time, 10:40 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Hey, did you see that sky today?
Did you guys see that?
Basically, the days we don't do Ask Slee, we do this thing. It's called Hey, Did You See?
Did you see that? I saw it. I did it.
Did you see the memo about this?
I mean, I'm excited. You can tell by my read. Hey, did you see?
Did you happen to see?
It's time for Hey, Did You See?
Hey, man, did you touch my drum set?
Have you read this?
Right now on Travis and Sliwa.
Before we get to your Hey Did You See, Taylor, I got a tweet asking about you. Who are you rooting for in the second round between the Warriors and the Lakers?
The Warriors.
The Warriors?
Yeah.
Why? Just because you can never get with the Lakers under any circumstances, or you root for the team that took your team out?
Both, yeah.
I think it has more to do with the Lakers.
Yeah, I do too.
I don't think he likes the Lakers.
Well, how could
By
you?
the way,
You're a Kings fan. How could you?
I have no problem with that. Now, granted, I was
They're my
rooting
least
for the
favorite Laker
Kings
of all time.
I was rooting for the Kings versus the Warriors, but that's fine. Doesn't need to. We don't need to extend that love.
It's not reciprocal. What do you got for us, Taylor?
Okay, guys. Did you see that nearly 13% of all jobs in the U.S. are full-time sales positions? So, Sliwa, what's your best salesman advice?
Don't try to sell too hard. Just be yourself. The worst thing that I think you could do in a sales position is oversell. You spend way too much time trying to actually convince somebody. Don't do that. Be yourself. Kind of listen to the partner on the other side. What is it they need? Try to come up with a game plan that makes sense. And if it doesn't happen, it's okay. Appreciate the time. Move on to the next one. And just kind of keep building those relationships. And over time, I think you'll have some success with it.
The two things, and this goes beyond just selling, but they apply to selling. Listen more than you talk, right? Figure out what works for them, not what you're trying to get to work for you. And the other thing is under promise and over deliver. That's just a good tactic in life. To say you're going to do one thing and give them a little bit more. Mm-hmm. That's all. Everybody's always excited. Oh, you told me you'd give me 10. There was actually 11. Yeah, great. Good for you. Right? I thought it was going to be this. It's actually a little bit less. Oh, that's great. Over promise, under promise, over deliver, and listen more than you talk.
Good advice, guys. Okay, next up. Did you see that 17...
Somebody's sales numbers just plummet. They take our advice.
One quarter at the Cannon Astro business when I worked there right out of college, number one. Just saying.
At Cannon?
Number one.
Look at you.
Number one. Now, it may have been that one person needed a machine the next day that was like $80,000, and I happened to be the one that picked up the phone, but we're not going to get into that.
Who needs those details?
Did you see that 17% of 13-year-olds read for fun almost every day? So, Trav, what's the book that made you enjoy reading for the first time?
I can tell you exactly the name of that book. The first book, and this probably will not come as a huge surprise to you, Slee, it was a book written by Peter Gallenbach, or maybe Gallenbeck, called Bums. And it was about the history of the Brooklyn Dodgers and about how the Dodgers became not just a major league team, but kind of this underdog. Nobody thought that they were going to be any good. Going up against the big bad Yankees. They were in Brooklyn. They had Ebbets Field, all the great players that came along with it. And just kind of understanding the history of that team made me want to read more about other baseball teams, learning more about Dodger history, more about old-timey baseball. That leads to 10,000 other different things.
How old were you?
14, maybe, something like that, 14 or 15,
okay.
Somewhere in there. And I don't read as much as I'd like, but I still read occasionally, and that was the one that kind of lit the fuse for me.
I'm with you. I don't read as much as I should. I think maybe more now. It's just because you got audiobooks, stuff like that. I guess that counts.
Does it? That's a great question.
So let me give you an example. Let me give you an example. If you have... What I don't do is I don't have audiobooks that are just like for pure pleasure. I feel like an audiobook is more educational. I don't know why that is, where I feel like if I have a hardcover book, it's more pleasure. I don't know why that goes that way, but I feel like that's how it is. I'll tell you which book that I remember as a kid that still to this day, just kind of the details of it, I'm like, what the hell? Lord of the Flies. Having to read Lord of the Flies when you were a kid growing up,
it's
part
like
of class,
grade, 9th grade,
something like that. Something like that. It was. And I was like, what the heck is going on here? But it kind of took me into a different world where, I mean, as an adult, the books I read is completely different. But as a kid, that was kind of like the first one where I'm like, all right, this is
You wanted
interesting.
the conch. You wanted to take control of the island. You wanted to be running
Everybody
around
wanted
with
the
it.
conch.
Of
Couldn't
course
talk.
they did. That terrible head on a stick, that was no good.
Yeah,
that
and
still
it's
messed me
also
up.
like led to so many different like movies, TV shows that are based similarly on Lord of the Flies. There's two for me, and both when I was really, really young. And a lot of these were like my parents reading to me or me starting to learn to read, and it was kind of like at a lower reading level. So it was the Chronicles of Narnia. Huge fan. My family was really religious, but it also was like the fantastical nature of Chronicles of Narnia, and then Harry Potter. Same thing. I think fantasy and that world building is what got me first into reading, and to realize that there's world outside of my world.
Okay, guys.
How about you, Taylor?
Fahrenheit 451.
Ooh, Ray Bradbury.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like that
great
one a lot.
one.
Scary.
Very. Coming true as we speak.
Okay, next up, guys. Did you see that data proves people love to hate watch TV? So is there a TV show that gets a lot of hate but doesn't deserve it? Travis.
It gets a lot of hate that does. Well, okay. For instance, I don't know if it deserves it or not, but like a show like The Kardashians, right? That gets a ton of hate, but it obviously is serving a purpose. And I don't know if it's just.
So what are the redeeming qualities?
I don't know. I literally have never seen it, but there's obviously something in it for somebody. Right,
It's dopamine. That's it.
Is that all it is? It's just
Yeah.
this release of frustration at whatever it is that they're doing. But
I don't know what it is.
I don't either, but
Yeah.
it's been on for a really long time. I think it still does reasonably well, or else it wouldn't
Well,
be
there's
on
a new
anymore.
one. This is the Hulu version. There was the Keeping
I'll
Up with the Kardashians.
take your
that was
word
on-
for it. I have no
What's
idea.
the Hulu version?
It's called The Kardashians. It's
Yeah,
the Hulu
Sleep.
version.
Oh.
How do you
The
not know
other
that?
one before was Keeping Up with the Kardashians,
Sure.
but it's all about the same story. And
Yeah, but that again, it's not for me. I have no interest in it, but somebody somewhere has to be getting something out of it if they keep flipping it on every day.
Okay, I think one show that gets hate, maybe it's because I work across with Travis here, and I feel like maybe it does get more hate than I thought, and I don't know if it's justified. Friends, I feel like, gets a lot of hate. Would you agree with that?
I know I hate it. I don't know if I mean it's obviously incredibly
I
popular.
think the younger generation
Yeah.
is more on Travis's side. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought the show was, I mean, I'm not telling you it's the greatest show ever, but I didn't have a problem with Friends. I think the more that you make fun of Ross and some of the characters there, then maybe I kind of look at it in a way that I never looked at it before. But I think that one gets some hate.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of reality TV show in this, but I think that as the time has gone on, I think Survivor gets more hate than it deserves because it does actually.
Another one that's been on forever.
But
Yeah.
I don't feel like people hate on that.
There are plenty of people that
the
say it's not as
beginning-
good as it used to be. It's not as big as it used to be. Like it's a reality show that doesn't really mean anything. But there's a lot of shows that a lot of shows that I watch or hate watch deserve to be hate watched. Like The Bachelor deserves to be hate watched.
Now,
There are
is
a
that
bunch of,
based on
like-
who?
Based on who? What?
Just based on you, it deserves to be hated on?
That's all that
Yeah,
matters.
it's bad. I mean, it's bad TV. People watch it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's like whiny, pretty people that are gonna find love eventually, and they're what 22.
Maybe not. Maybe if they're ugly on the inside, they won't.
No, people will get over ugly on the inside for pretty on the outside. Let's just say that.
I just wanted to say that. Any more, Taylor? Or is that it?
Yeah, one more really fast. Did you see that every year 31 million Americans pull up their roots and relocate? So do you ever think about ghosting everyone and then moving away to a new city or country? If so, where would you go? Alan, Big Al.
The party pal.
I would, if I went somewhere, I want to go to like Montana or something. I want to go to a place where it's just green. That there isn't as many people, there isn't as many cars.
Better hurry. It's filling up in Montana.
You got a lot compared to here. You could give me
True.
1 acre, and I feel like it's 400 acres. It'd have to be something like that. That's the only thing that I could think of. Where I'm still in the States, I'm not that far away from family and everything else, but something along those lines.
I don't want to go to another country, but yeah, kind of chuck in California at some point in my life, and for maybe a smaller place in California or something that's similar. Pacific Northwest is something that appeals to me a little bit, but I like warm. I don't mind rainy, but I don't want to live where it's flat.
Yeah.
I don't want to live where it's super hot. So that kind of limits my places. Montana sounds good. I just don't think that you and we could collect our money. I don't think we get an apartment up there right now. It is
expensive.
getting outrageously expensive up there.
More than here?
No, not more than here, but
Yeah.
the people that live here are buying second, third, 10th homes up
Over there.
It's kind of
Same for
running it up. But
Wyoming.
yeah, the idea of chucking it, Taylor, and going somewhere else, I think that's a fantasy everybody has all the time. And just going, if you're in a big city, you
Yeah.
want to go chuck it and go small. If you live in a small rural town, you want to chuck it and go to the big city.
If I could think of one place I think you'd thrive in, I think Brazil. I think you do really well out there.
I mean, I like the food.
Yeah.
That's a good start.
Yeah. Just feel like that kind of guy, you know?
That doesn't. By the way, that doesn't sound so bad. I know you were reaching for something, but that's not. No, it's warm.
I see you on a.
You could have that
remote-
conversation with Susan tonight. Hey, Slee had a great idea.
That would not be a non-starter. I'm just saying there are far worse places.
I see you in remote Ireland. Like, so there's a movie that came out this year called Banshees of Inisherin. I could see you thriving on Inisherin, just on a
What
cliff.
is Inisherin?
It's a made up
city?
town and
Okay.
island, but it's essentially just a abandoned, not abandoned,
Do I
but
have
like
to
an
eat
isolated
mutton?
cliffside.
Is mutton
Mutt?
on the
I
menu?
have no idea.
Mutton is as a male sheep, I believe. Is that right, Taylor?
Sure, probably.
Or it's
I think
adult?
I think it's any sheep.
Is it just the adult?
It's
not the
any
baby
sheep,
lamb?
bro.
The baby lambs. Lamb is not bad.
It's a
Mutton-
ram and an ewe.
You-
Yeah.
Yeah, a ram. I don't want to eat any rams. I want to watch the Rams, not eat them. All right, AD, not a great second half, but did he steal that game for the Lakers? That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710.
$11 o'clock at the Southland on a live imaging Tuesday. But for today, better known as a Lakers Celebration Tuesday. What a win last night at Crypto.com. Is the Lonnie Walker statue ready outside? Slee, you should cut the
I
ribbon.
think it's in development.
Is it?
Yeah,
you should cut the ribbon.
They're working on it right
Slee
now.
should sculpt it. He should be the one in charge of making the whole thing. Do you have any sculpting skills, Al?
I'll go to Dr. Clapper.
You could be an R&D for that.
How are you?
A Lakers Celebration Tuesday as we celebrate last night's huge Game 4 victory all day. Thanks to our friends at Michelob Ultra. Getting ready for Game 5. Coverage tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. up in the Bay Area. Could it be the knockout punch, Slee?
apparently everybody here at the moment thinks it's coming back on Friday.
Don't call it a comeback.
Do you
though,
think
or
it's
something.
coming back on Friday?
That means I got to come up here Friday.
3 days.
I do think.
You do.
Right?
I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Really?
I do.
Then again, I thought by the time we went back to Frisco, it'd be 2-2.
Yeah, we don't say they don't say Frisco.
Unless you're doing it intentionally to enrage the citizens of San Francisco.
It's the city or the Bay Area.
But don't we want to bother them?
Oh yeah,
that's fine if it's done with purpose. I fully
What about
support it.
Listen, you gutless Bay Area fans, go to Frisco and get your rice-a-roni. Oh, rice-a-roni ain't bad.
It's not.
It's not.
I said
you know.
San
actually
Fran
quite
one
good.
time to my friend, and he
Nope.
was like,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can't
yeah.
do that. I'm like, okay, well, I can.
That's
'cause
hella
what I'm gonna
weird.
say.
That's another good NorCal word. Hella, San Fran.
I use
Frisco.
hella a lot, though. I mean,
Although a Frisco
Tend to.
burger's a good item.
Delicious.
Oh, it's nice. You
Delicious.
get that sourdough with the onions.
avocado.
Oh, you put in the nah.
Give me that clam chowder at Fisherman's Wharf.
That's
Put
good.
it in that bread bowl right there. Seagulls everywhere. You're just kind of.
Speaking of seagulls, which goes back to birds, which goes to Twitter. You know who was on fire? I don't know how I did that, but you know who was on fire last night on Twitter? So I didn't, after the game and stuff, I didn't really look at Twitter. I fell asleep on the drive home with Cappy. Then I went to bed because I had to be up early. I opened my Twitter app this morning, and you know how the algorithm will then show you what you've missed from people you interact with?
Yeah.
It was 14 tweets in a row from Emily.
okay, 6
No,
tweets.
she was
I
on
sent
fire.
6 tweets.
My feed, I couldn't even get to like other people's opinion on the game. It was just all
No,
M.
It's all producer M.
That's
was
all
all
you
in.
need is my.
What was
my
your
opinion.
hottest take on the Twitters last night?
Let me open it up right now just to make sure that I say
Did you
myself
work
correctly.
Succession into the Lakers into a tweet?
I didn't, but I did. Is AD awake right now? Is probably my biggest thing, and that was in the middle of the second
Well, that's
half.
not nice.
Yeah, I was going to say, I could have guessed when
Jeez.
that one was coming out.
Also, are you kidding me with these threes Lakers? It's read as like, could I be wearing any more clothes?
By the way, it's too bad Mark Cates, our salesperson of the year from the Mandy Awards last year, isn't here right now. He's in a meeting in Orange County.
Yep.
Because he was doing in the suite last night an amazing Alan Sliwa impersonation. Hey, Laker fans, how are we feeling?
Dot,
And
dot,
I couldn't breathe. I was laughing so hard.
It's my guy. It's my
Lakers
guy.
fans, how are we feeling?
Do the Lakers got this one?
God, this one.
I think I've seen that one.
I can't wait for tomorrow night. Of course, the Lakers postgame show, thanks to our friends at Pizza Hut after Game 5. But also, I will be paying attention now. I will have it open all night long and interacting with producer Emily's famous Lakers tweets during the game.
Were you having some wine last night? I mean, just
No,
feeling it? Or
I
And what was
going
going on? Give us the
Yeah.
truth. We want the behind the scenes.
I was totally sober. I was. I just come back from gym. I took a shower to get ready to watch the game. I
Hammered.
sat there. I wasn't hammered.
She was hammered.
I sat there with a soda, and I just watched the
Hammered.
game on the couch by myself. And I swear my roommates were probably getting mad at me because I was like clapping my hands every time, like an annoyance every time that LeBron shot a 3. I was like, "You've got to be kidding me!" You know, I was animated, but I was by myself. Every other game I've watched with other people, and so this is the first one that I
You
was
need
like,
an audience, and you didn't have one, so you went to Twitter to find it.
exactly. And I did find it,
Yeah.
and it
She
was
found the
there.
community there. She found
Hey,
love
whatever
there.
it takes. No judgment at all. Whatever it takes.
It was a good game. I was excited. I wore my Apple Watch and my heart rate was up a lot. They're like, "You gotta slow it down, girl," and I was like, "Okay, sure." I was just interested in the game, you know.
Keep tweeting.
I like. Hey,
No, we need that.
They won.
It's good.
Whatever. Just do what you did on the wins. Don't do what you do in the losses, and look, let the gods.
And everything
Tomorrow
will be
night,
okay.
from there.
I want a tweet, Emily, from
Okay.
you that says, "It is a final." It is a final!
Regardless of the results.
Well, hopefully it's a Lakers win and a knockout punch.
If AD
Yeah.
has a weird game, will you call him gutless on your Twitter stream?
Yeah, it's
Emily?
either,
I will
going
call
to
him
say
that
it is a final because the Lakers ended the series, or it is a final. See you on Friday.
'Cause I want to play.
See you on Friday.
I want to play golf on Friday afternoon. I don't feel like coming up here.
But I do have a Succession Lakers related thing that we can do later on.
Yes, we
This
will
is a
do that
good
later
idea.
on. Meanwhile, it is Travis and Sliwa, a Lakers celebration Tuesday right now.
Thank you, Chris. Emily, you and I haven't had a chance to kind of chew on it too much.
Oh, on it later.
Okay, we're gonna do it later.
Yeah, we'll chew
All
on
right.
it later.
All right. It was.
That's a tease.
You can.
Yeah, you guys are fun.
You're good. You're good.
I'm actually going to go down to Starbucks.
You should go play 9 holes real quick. We'll go knock it out. You can go do that.
I have a
along the way.
fantastic comp to another great piece of media that I want to throw at you for the Succession. So
All right.
again, another tease.
All right, we'll do that coming up in just a little bit. She was tweeting about LeBron taking his threes. Slee, I've been trying to figure out how I want to say this all morning long, and I can't come up with it other than this way, so I'm going to say it, but I want to preface it with something. I am not calling LeBron James a role player, okay? I understand that his impact on the game far exceeds any role player in any universe in any sport. But the way that he's being used right now, is he not the greatest role player you've ever seen in your life, where he's out there when you need him, you can deploy him, he can pass, he can initiate the offense, he can rebound, he can post up, he can finish around the rim, he can do all these things. But I've never seen him stand around as much as I'm seeing him in this series. I've never seen him be disengaged from multiple plays in a row for as long as I have in this particular series. They need him to play the way he played last night. He was really good last night. He was a contributor in every possible way, but it just feels like he is contributing to the success of this team rather than being the reason the team is successful. And it's incredibly refreshing and sustainable, which I think is the best part about it, that him in this role of, hey guys, I'm here if you need me, and I'm more than happy to do the things that I do, but I am going to take some bad shots. I am going to stand around. I am going to conserve some energy. It feels very un-LeBron-y.
So you've never seen it because we've never seen it. Because LeBron, in his 20 years in the NBA and 275 playoff games, whatever he's played,
so stupid.
He's never been used that way. And I think it's clear that Bron understands and this team understands you can only get so much of LeBron James. So how do you want to use it? Do you want to use it in the beginning like they did in Game 2 when it was, hey, can we get Bron going? Bron got going, but then the Lakers were getting blown out and the game didn't matter. Do you want to use it in bits and pieces? There was a play yesterday. Darvin Ham comes with a substitution. Rui's coming in, and I think it was Dennis Schroeder that was coming in, something like that. And the substitutions happen. LeBron goes out, and D'Angelo Russell comes out. D'Angelo Russell does not come back in the game. They take him out of the game 6 minutes ago, whatever it was, right, in the fourth. Bron waited. I'm not kidding. You heard John on the broadcast say it. Then as soon as Rui comes in, one possession later, the ball gets knocked out or something like that, and LeBron just checks himself back in. He wasn't out for more than 30 seconds. Mm-hmm. There is a lot of it, I think, is completely based on LeBron. I think Darvin Ham has somewhat to say with it, but I think for the most part is you do you. You tell us how your body feels. You tell us when you're ready. You want to take some shots. I'm with you on the three-point shooting, and everybody is, but can I tell you something? I also think Bron is saying to himself, a couple of these are going to fall. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, if Bron is taking an open three, he's thinking to himself, this is as good as a possession that we might get.
Sure.
I don't know if AD is going to take over down low. It might be Lonnie Walker taking a shot or Austin Reaves, whatever the case is. But when I like the way that you put it when you said that I've never seen this before. Nobody has. Draymond said it after the first game. This is a different LeBron that we have to prepare for because it's not the regular LeBron that always has the ball in his hands.
And it's again, they won. They're up 3-1, and he's a big part of the reason that those things are true. But there are also multiple bad shots, right? Those threes where it's not just an open three is an open three, and even though he's cold
it's one
right
where
now,
it's early in the shot clock and it's contested.
Or he's just standing there dribbling for the entire shot clock, and he takes it, and it's contested. Mm-hmm. It's just there are times where it feels like, look, I'm going to take this 24-second possession, and I'm going to spend 20 of it catching my breath. Yep. And that's fine, but it's just very, very new. And I like it. That's the other part about it is before even and let's go back to before Anthony Davis came back from his most recent injury that was, January, something like that?
Yeah, out for 5 weeks, yeah.
That you had to he had to initiate the offense. He had to attack the basket. He had to make his three-point shots. He had to dish to other people. He had to kind of keep everything going, and that was really the only way you can do it. Now that's not the only way that they can do it. It's one of the ways that they can do it. If they need him, I still think one of their best plays is him at the top with the ball in his hand, him attacking the basket and making a decision to finish, to kick, to do whatever it is that he wants to do. I still think that's their best play. If you said to me, the tie game, last possession, I want that possession they had against Minnesota in the play-in where he attacks. The one that he had against Memphis in Game 3, was it? Where he finishes high off the glass.
Yep.
These, maybe it's a Game 4. That's what I want
it
in
was
a pinch,
Game 4. Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't have to be that, and it's incredibly refreshing to where we want to run it through AD, great. We want to run it through D'Angelo Russell, depending on the night, maybe not so bad. Lonnie Walker last night, they ran the offense through Lonnie Walker for like 6 minutes in a row. That's okay. That's actually really good news.
Won them the game. I like there were some times they used Braun yesterday, too, where he's posting up, that he could kind of rest a little.
Early.
They did that, and there were times where they were making Steph, whoever Steph was guarding, they would screen on Steph, so now Steph is guarding LeBron. Now LeBron can make decisions from 15 feet away from the basket. LeBron can go in there. He had a nice hook shot. Got to the free throw line a couple times. That, I feel like, is a more effective LeBron, where you're also kind of still conserving your energy. You're still the point guard that can look at the floor and kind of see where everybody is. They've definitely been more strategic with him.
All right, maybe a little bit of extra motivation for Anthony Davis heading into Game 5. There was a list, and he's not on it. That's coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN.
How are you?
Yeah, this is great. This sounds extremely professional.
Travis and Sliwa
on 710 ESPN.
I'm going to give you a little credit, Al. Give myself a little bit as well. You and I just went to the kitchen, got a little water, got a little coffee.
Yeah.
Big plate of donuts out there. Both Sliwa and I escaped donutless. So I think we deserve a pat on the back.
They look pretty good.
They look great.
Weren't the kind of donuts you wanted?
Not in a donut sort of frame of mind at the moment. Right now, they look like the Simpsons donuts, like Homer Simpson donuts.
Yeah,
they're really pretty.
Top,
frosting
yes.
with the sprinkles. They're very good-looking
You said something.
donuts.
You said something that I'm with you on. I'm not crazy for sweets. But in the morning, cup of coffee, something like that's a good little mix there. I can't eat a whole donut. I just can't. That's too much sweets for me. You cut that thing, you go half, I go half, we go 50-50, I'm in. You just tell me if you want in.
If you hand me half a donut, I'm going to eat it. But I don't have to have the half a donut.
You didn't even think twice. Like, it might as well just been some paper plates there that were empty. You had no interest.
Wings, burgers, fries, pizza slide, the other things that come in here, that chicken kebab place that we get. That
place is
that's terrific. Get those roasted tomatoes, a little char on those tomatoes, Slee. Wrap in a warm pita, a little tzatziki.
Taylor, go get him a donut.
It's terrific.
The guy obviously is craving a donut.
I'm not walking.
Have you had one yet?
If I walk past one, I'm going to get one. So I'm not doing it.
You don't want one, or you just haven't done it yet?
If I have one, I'm going to have the whole plate probably.
They're sitting there
That's
for
how it
the
usually
takings.
works.
I'm seeing like 7 of them.
They're stacked really nice, and there's variety.
When I was a kid, my dad would go get donuts almost every Saturday morning. It's kind of like a household tradition where my dad would
awesome.
He'd go to Winchell's, and he'd come back. So it was me and my brother and my mom and dad, 4 of us in our family. My dad would come back with 24 donuts.
Wow.
Let me say it again. My mother would eat either 0 or 1, and the rest between my brother, my dad, and I would get demolished. So that leaves 23 donuts for 3 people.
You
to
guys
eat on
did
a
not
Saturday.
finish
Growing
23
boys.
donuts.
We would go through it every Saturday, and it was like, no, that's just what it is. You would go, and if you got up early enough, like, because my dad was an early riser, so once in a blue moon, I'd go with him to Winchell's, and he'd let you pick out whatever you wanted. You get a little bear claw, you get a little, apple fritter, you get the big ones, right? And you'd have 6 donuts on a Saturday morning watching Scooby-Doo, and it's like that's just what you would do.
I think that was 80% of children's motivation that they had to go to church. For us,
Get the donuts
they
after.
would sell they would sell donuts after. It was like 50 cents, $1, whatever it was,
we
right?
get Slurpees after my church,
So literally, you'd walk out of the church, right? You got the holy water right there. I'm doing the cross, and I'm doing the sign of the cross. Before I know it, my hand that's wet is handing the $1 over to the church. So
that sounds pretty good.
Oh, it's great.
Did you get 1 or did you get 2?
I got 1. My mom wouldn't let me have more than 1.
You should have come over to mine. My dad would stuff. You'd have donuts coming out your ears.
Al, how old were you? 23?
All right, the NBA All-Defensive Team is out. Here's first team All-Defense NBA. Triple J, Jaren Jackson Jr., Brooke Lopez, Alex Caruso, first team All-Defense, Evan Mobley, and Drew Holiday make up the first team. The second team is Bam Adebayo, OG Anunoby, your guy, Lee. Dylan Brooks makes second team All-Defense, Draymond Green, and Derek White. No Anthony Davis on that list. Anthony Davis is one of the best defensive players in the league. He's one of the best two-way players in the league. I've given up trying to figure out what motivates Anthony Davis and what does not, but I guess in a vacuum, this is something that could take one of the best defensive players in the league and kind of push him to another level. Like, oh, you don't think I'm one of the 10 best defenders in this league? Well, watch this.
Well, I kind of like this in a weird way because I guarantee you this is going to get brought up. It will get brought up to Darvin Ham tomorrow. It will get brought up to LeBron at some point. And we're watching by far. Listen, I'm not watching every series, but you tell me a player that through the first 10 games of the playoffs that's playing better defense than Anthony Davis. I saw reading some stat yesterday. It's only Hakeem, David Robinson, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar through the first 9 games that had 35-plus blocks and 10-plus steals.
Wow.
In the first 9 games, and AD was on that list. AD has been incredible on defense. Listen, I wish I had a better gauge for how these are determined. I wonder if it's, hey, AD played 56 games.
Yeah, it's
you
a
needed
regular
to get,
season award, too.
You need to get over 60 or whatever the case. I don't know what it is. But I think there's certain players that already established where I don't know how important that award is for Anthony Davis today. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I think you're right.
Joel Embiid wanted to win MVP.
Clearly.
Joker did not care about winning MVP. He's already got 2 of them, right? Michael always says this, that, hey, you can go get the MVP, but the finals MVP is really the only one people remember, which is not true. I remember the regular MVP, but I know what he's saying with finals MVP.
Sure.
I don't think Bron is at a stage of his career where he cares about individual awards. I think for Anthony Davis, when you've already won an NBA championship, and the only thing people care about is, are you playing games and how far are you getting in the playoffs? I don't know how much that one will mean to him, but I think just seeing him in the playoffs, I don't care what top 10 players you choose as first team and second team. Anthony Davis is one of the best defenders in the NBA, period. And if he has to just prove it in the playoffs, sounds good.
I think that's exactly right. And this may take me a minute to get there. I think not being on this list speaks to the way that our perception of Anthony Davis has changed over the last few years. There's no, what you just said, Slee, is almost a universal truth. Anthony Davis is one of the best defensive players in the league. Nobody that watches NBA basketball would say, no, he's not. Right? It is a universal truth. But the fact that he hasn't played a ton, the fact that and oddly, because his offense kind of comes and goes, I think adversely affects our perception of him totally. That this is the all defensive team. Whether he gets 0 points or 50 shouldn't affect his defense. But we've just kind of come to this place with Anthony Davis where we know he's one of the best players in the league when he's around, most of the time, occasionally, frequently, almost always, never. He's all over the map. Now, thankfully for the Lakers in the postseason, that hasn't been true at all. He's been far more good than bad.
Yep.
Last night, you kind of got both. You got first half Anthony Davis, which was very active offensively, very involved in everything that the Lakers were doing. And then the second half of the game, it was like he decided he was going to take half the game off. He just wasn't involved in the offense. Now, he was great defensively, especially on Steph at the end, but I really do think that being excluded from this list, A, it's a function of he doesn't play enough games, but B, it's just a function of how we kind of perceive him as a sometimes on, sometimes off guy, because no one in their right mind that watches basketball thinks that Anthony Davis isn't one of the 10 best defenders in the league. He is, full stop.
So, just so people have some context to this, he's a 4-time All-NBA first team. He's a 2-time NBA All-Defensive first team. He's a 2-time NBA All-Defensive second team. He's got these awards before. It's been there. So it's not like this is not part of his resume. He just didn't get it this year. Tell you what Anthony Davis doesn't have, and maybe I'm jumping a little bit too far here, but I think it's safe to do it because I think something happened to me yesterday that after the Lakers beat the Warriors, it kind of really hit me and dawned on me. Lakers got a really, really good chance. They could win the whole thing.
Sure they could. Yeah, I agree.
And I think, and I'm not telling you that when the playoffs started, it didn't cross my mind a little bit, but I think it was way too premature.
It's gone from, well, they're in it, so they have a chance, to if everything breaks exactly right, they might have a chance to, they got a pretty good chance. That's what's changed.
They're one game away from the Final Four.
And there's nobody that you look at and say they can't beat them. So that's the other part.
That, to me, is the most important thing you just said. They're a good basketball team, and there isn't a KD on the Warriors team. There isn't a LeBron, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh. There's none of that left. You got a Denver Nuggets team that is a really good team. They also have never been to the NBA Finals before.
Mm-hmm.
So there's an experience factor there. AD is matched up well against the Joker. Okay, put that to the side. Does Phoenix have the depth? I think a lot of people would say you're depending on two guys to carry you. Boston has had their fair share of issues, and they're in a dogfight with Philly tied to
and they're poorly
apiece.
Coached.
And their coaching, you could clearly see there's a difference from last year to this year. Only reason why I said Miami, unbelievable season. They've been great. Miami also doesn't have a ton of weapons that they can work with. I set this all up because Anthony Davis has been, at least for me, he's been the best player on both sides of the floor basically every night I see the Lakers play. Okay?
Yeah.
And if he's the best player, if I said, hey, who's been the best player this series between the Lakers and the Warriors, who would you say?
It's AD.
It's Anthony Davis.
Yeah, for sure.
So if AD is the best player, where LeBron's on the floor, Steph's on the floor, Clay's on the floor, kind of go through some of these different guys. He was the best player in the previous round with Ja Morant there.
No question.
He's been the best player. All these accolades are awesome. They're cool. That's everything. It's not far-fetched to think that the Lakers and Anthony Davis could get to the NBA Finals, and he could potentially have a Finals MVP under his belt.
Sure.
So I respect the 10 that are there, but I have no problem looking at Anthony Davis and just saying that I know he's one of the best players in the on the defensive side.
Everything you said is true, and I'll go a step further. If they're going to win a championship, he's going to have to win the MVP. If he doesn't, I don't think that. I mean, I guess you could make a case for LeBron, right? That's not a super far-fetched scenario either. But
can I tell you something? I actually, it's not an easy case for LeBron. I agree with you.
It's not.
It's not an easy case.
And by the way, if AD doesn't play like this against the Celtics or the Sixers or whoever they could potentially match up with in the finals, if they get there, then they probably don't win.
Agreed. So
then nobody gets it from the Lakers. That not only can he, if they're going to have their 18th championship, he's going to have to be. And it's remarkable. Maybe we got Factor Cap coming up here in just a little bit, but when we come back after that, I want to get into this because not only is this the most unlikely championship run I've ever seen in my life, this is the most unlikely championship run that could lead to more championship runs than I've ever seen. Because this whole thing was, listen, LeBron's getting old. They're going to need to find who's next. And we thought it was Anthony Davis. And well, guess what? It might be Anthony Davis after all. That we moved on from it because it'd been a couple years and he hadn't been healthy and he hadn't looked good and he hadn't looked particularly competitive in certain situations. Well, over these last few weeks, maybe the last couple of months where he's basically played every day minus the back-to-backs, he's not only been the best player on this team, he's been one of the best players in the league. They have the second best odds to win an NBA championship. If they do win an NBA championship, he's a very likely winner of the MVP award, and he's entering his 30s. This is what you're hoping was going to happen, actually is, which 8 months ago it would have sounded like you're on drugs if you would have told somebody that.
So we do it at 11:45, but do you agree that yesterday for me there was a little bit of the, you start looking around the rest of the league? And maybe that should have happened a little bit early.
You know what I think part of it's he gave you a what was it last night? He gave you an even numbered game that was pretty good. It wasn't great, but it was pretty darn good. And it sounds so stupid to say out loud, but a couple of good games in a row offensively for him is a big deal. And if you can get that a little bit more, they're in a great spot. Just an absolutely great spot. Factor Cap coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
and it's time for Fact or Cap.
Oh, that's cap. That's so cap, Dad. Everything I've said is a cap, but I'm going to go fact. First of all, it's not a cap. It is a cap.
Welcome to Fact or Cap.
Hey, guys.
Sam.
So I got a funny tweet last night from Crypto Ray, who I think, it was him, who's like, Austin Reaves reminds me of Cousin Greg. And I was like, I don't really see that because I think it's not really, the personalities seem the same, but got me thinking about a bunch of Lakers, what their succession counterpart is. So I really want to lay that out for you guys at some point in the show.
Done.
Let's do it.
Funny.
Let's do it next segment.
Yep. All right. So according to KPRC, which is a TV station in Houston.
Houston, hello.
A high school was forced to cancel classes last Friday thanks to a mysterious, quote-unquote, unbearable odor that was nauseating to the point where 6 people had to be taken to the hospital for treatment after it was initially detected on Wednesday. The department eventually found that they got to the bottom of the matter. They shared that investigation of a Facebook post where the odor stemmed from a bottle of fart spray traced back to an unidentified student who presumably bought the fart spray for $10 on Amazon. So essentially, this
What
kid...
is fart spray?
I don't know.
Is it what I think it is?
I think so. I don't know what else it would be.
Right. So,
Takes a lot to make those.
This is why pranks suck. Travis, Fact or Cap?
A fact. Well, you know how I feel about pranks. I'm not a prank person at all. And look, I'm not above a good fart joke here and there, but the idea of fouling a school to the point where you're sending kids to the hospital seems a little aggressive. So I'm 100% fact with you on this one.
Morales?
So I grew up with a mother. I mean, she's still a prankster, but as a child, I was very shy. I know that's hard to believe. And she, took me out with older kids to toilet paper. How my mother knew all these older kids in the neighborhood? At an early age when I was uncomfortable, I was afraid of the Chucky, Child's Play.
Yeah.
And again, I was very meek at 8 years old and scared. So my mother and her best friend that were pranksters had a Chucky doll waiting in my bedroom when I went to bed. So I screamed bloody murder and ran around the house. And my
Not
mother would be like,
traumatizing.
"Hey, knock it off. Let the kid be." But so I say fact, but also cap, because I think it made me who I am. Having a
Tough
mother
love.
force me to toilet paper at 8 years old. And I'm
This
like,
is
no,
why.
Mommy, no, this is bad.
Do you still have a reaction to Chucky when you see him?
Not as much anymore. I kind of find him amusing, but
Al?
Okay, this prank, yes, it definitely sucks, but I think it's cap because you can't say all pranks are not like this, right? That there are...
I don't know. They all kind of suck.
No, there's... I'm going to use a show as an example. You guys, Impractical Jokers, you guys ever watch that
Sure.
show?
Yeah.
It's freaking hilarious.
it is.
And
Is it?
And they're not doing things...
Oh,
they're
you
not-
don't like the show?
No.
When
I
they're
don't like
torturing people in that
Impractical
same New
Jokers.
Jersey mall over and over again and nobody catches on?
There are certain jokes that are funny. There are other pranks that are just too extreme. This is just too extreme. Because you have one extreme one, I don't think it just ruins all the
This
other
kid
ones.
just thought he would do a little bit of the fart thing. It probably just got out of hand and obviously
Probably only supposed to use a
exploded.
drop or two. He probably smashed the whole bottle in math class.
Taylor?
Cap, this is why pranks are good, but they're intended for high schoolers, I think. This is the age group that you have to do them in. I mean, I did this kind of stuff in high school.
I like that. Good job, Taylor.
I do think that there is one joke that I do or prank that I do find funny. It used to be on MTV. They used to do the best senior pranks or whatever. This one school released 3 pigs, labeled number them 1, 2, and 4, and so you had to keep on thinking you got to find the 3rd pig.
Oh, I like that.
That's pretty good.
That's good.
All right, so Kim Kardashian was at the Laker game last night, and she was sporting a shirt that said, I like nerds. So you think Kim Kardashian actually does like nerds. All right, Morales, Fact or Cap?
Well, I thought Pete Davidson's thing was he was kind of like a funny nerd, right?
And other
Yeah,
things.
in a way.
I don't know. I mean,
Other special skills.
Right.
I'm going to
exactly.
say, well, listen, guys, I'm going to say fact. Because, again, all you got to do is make them laugh, and maybe nerds can make you laugh.
Al?
Cap. Yeah, she does not. I mean, if you look at her
You
resume...
got to have the belief,
You got
the
if you
hope.
look at her resume, these are all just athletes and
It's like an NBA starting lineup.
It's an NBA starting lineup. I think there's definitely a lot of this is maybe why we hate the show, and we were talking about it a little bit earlier, stuff that we just don't understand any of that stuff. None of it seems authentic. None of it. So, and her shirt's a perfect example. It's like, I was buying that. Nobody's believing that. So I go cap on this.
Trav?
I think it's Cap, too. I think she has a very specific set of criteria that she's looking for in her dating life. And I don't know if brainiac, nerdy math guy or whatever we're calling it, science fiction, marveling
Met
guy,
him in a
nerdy
library.
guy. Yeah, I
Did you?
don't think so.
Maybe she's in her nerd era.
I think
Is
that's
she?
unlikely.
Yeah, is she?
I'm going Cap.
Isn't there
on this
more
one.
diversity in her dating? I mean, Kanye and Chris Humphries and Pete
Yeah.
Davidson have nothing in common. Those three guys.
Yeah,
They're
she
all
has
famous.
some diversity in the famous people that she chooses to be with.
They're
I
all
don't believe her
famous.
shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
Taylor?
Cap. Yeah, I don't believe her.
Yeah, next thing we know, she'll be dating, like, I don't know, Elon Musk or something, some other nerd.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so next one. So I talked about the corgi earlier, but if those who hadn't heard it, there's a corgi on TikTok that their owner will throw them a ball. They'll use their nose to deflect it and then put it into a basket, and they predict
Lakers
the
will
winners
lose in 7.
of series because of that. So, rookie could be as good as this corgi. Alan, Patrick Cap.
It's a good question. Rookie's got kind of a weird thing going. If he's in a certain mood and I just start going towards this little cabinet I have with all his toys and balls and stuff like that, he hallucinates. There's other times he's sitting on the couch where I will bounce like a ball to him. It will just hit him in the forehead and he'll do nothing. I'm like, Rookie, what the hell was that? Other times he's a freaking hockey goalie. You can't get anything past him. So I just don't know which rookie that I'm going to get.
You're the same. We're all the same way. Sometimes maybe he's just not in the mood to play.
You're right.
I mean, sometimes I make a joke to you. You just give me a look like, not today, Chris. I'm like, all right, that's the mood you're in. That's fine.
That corgi seems like he's a trained professional athlete. Rookie is, guys, I'm going back to bed.
I'm going to bite the ball instead
But a
of
corgi is like, that's one type of dog. Rookie is like, he's like, a 10. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Rookie's a man. I'm telling you, you throw a ball towards him, there's a 50% chance he's interested.
Trev?
What I'm getting is that Rookie's attention span is not on the corgi's level. the Rookie needs to be sent to basketball school so he can start making shots. I just don't know if he has the canine discipline on how to focus on one of the two shots. I'm going Cap.
I took him for a walk yesterday, and he takes one of the balls from inside. He takes it with him. He's like, I'm going to carry this with me. And then just during the walk, he just lets it go, and we just keep walking. I'm like, where the hell's your ball? We got to go backtrack.
Corgi's bringing that ball home.
Yeah.
Morales?
Fact, right?
Yes.
Fact. Yeah, fact. Fact.
All right, Taylor?
I don't know. I haven't met Rookie yet. I think you should bring him to work, Slee. Is there like
Slee, you haven't
Oh, no.
Taylor hasn't met Rookie?
Is there a bring your dog to work day?
We
Please
brought
no.
him to pickleball.
Yeah.
Pickleball is the only event that
Okay.
he's come to so far.
Bring him to the Mandy's.
Yeah,
We'll bring him to...
Why not?
That'd be pretty great if we brought
Put a little bow tie on him.
little tux.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do Game 6, Lakers-Warriors. We'll just take... I'm like, he's a service dog.
I'm sure he'd be super chill inside of crypto. He wouldn't be freaking out at all with all the noise going on.
Rose
in there.
Bowl Parade. Tried taking him to that. That didn't work out.
Yeah, perfect.
All right, so there was a video coming out of a high school baseball. After the game, they did a handshake line. For those who don't play sports, just do a handshake line. You shake hands after it say good game. But
We do that after work.
Obviously, yeah.
LeBron's not big on that, but that's neither.
So one member of this handshake line decided to sucker punch the other team in the midst of the handshake line. So sucker punching in a handshake line is the lowest of low. Taylor, Fetcher Cap.
I think that's the time to do it. If you're going to sucker punch, somebody, might as well just do it in front
That
of
was
everybody.
not the perspective that I thought was coming from Taylor.
I just learned something about Taylor right now. I now know to steer very wide of him.
When
if he's in
that
a bad
answer
mood.
was coming out, I'm like, I was not expecting that.
Give him the old handshake fake and right in the face.
Bam!
Yeah.
Right? Trev?
I'm just going with whatever Taylor says. I don't want to experience
Piss him
his
off.
wrath. Yeah, I don't want to get on the wrong side of him. So Taylor, you were Cap.
Well, he said
I'm
it is
going
the time
Cap.
to punch somebody.
That's whatever Taylor says. I'm going with that
It's
because I
Cap.
don't want to
Cap.
aggravate him.
Morales?
I mean, I would say fact. But I like that we got the. I think this show is going to be the Renegade. Like, you know what? We're the show that'll punch you in the handshake line. That's an imaging. We're going to do that imaging.
Al?
I think I'll go fact. I think sucker punching in general is the lowest of the low. Whether it's in a handshake line or it's at a bar or it's...
It's the equivalent of somebody pouring water on you from behind and you never saw it coming.
Or throwing a trophy.
Or throwing a trophy for no
Yeah,
reason on
yeah.
a,
The difference in that one is when I do something to John, I will look at him in the eyes when I do it. I will not do it
like
behind
Robert
his
De
back.
Niro at the end of Heat when he finds Waingro in the hotel.
Yeah.
And he goes, look at me.
Yeah.
And it cost him his entire life, but he
Leave
had
him
to do
alone.
it.
He's had enough. Leave him alone.
I'd rather look in the eyes on that one. The sucker punch is the lowest of the low.
Speaking of Robert De Niro, so Robert De Niro is a dad for the 7th time at age 79.
Wow.
So he has a newborn at 79. So the max age that you would want to have a newborn baby that is yours, not your grandchild,
77.
is 55. Travis, Fed or Cap?
Oh, Cap. I can see 55 out of my windshield very clearly from where I stand. I am not ready to have a baby at 55 years old. There's a reason that our biology lets us have babies like when you're teenagers, right? Just the biology of it all. It's a lot of work, physical work, to keep up with them at all. 55, I'm going to be a decrepit old man. Not a chance. Much
It would be a
younger.
good
Cap.
excuse for you, though, to go to even more fast food because you'd be like, hey, the kid wanted McDonald's. What do you want from me?
I've heard worse
Not going to let the
ideas.
kid eat alone.
He needs a Happy Meal. What's a life without a Happy
Cap
Meal?
all the way around. There's no age for me, so I think we know that.
Al?
Fact. Max age you'd want to have babies 55. No, I'm sorry, Cap. That's just too old. Yeah, I'm let's get the work done before that.
All right, Taylor?
I'm kind of with Morales. No more. The world does not need more me.
See?
Well, we don't need more people knocking each other out in handshake lines. That's
I've never
for sure.
done it. I'm just saying if you're gonna
Hey,
do it.
great game.
You know?
Wow. Emily, what about, I know I'm women, obviously there's a biological
Yeah.
component, but what about for you?
Yeah, I physically can't have a baby at
Why-
55.
so,
but
35,
my mom
45.
had a baby at 42. I could see that happening. But also in the handshake lines, so my older sister and I used to compete against each other in water polo. So she was on Virginia Tech, I was on Virginia, rival teams. Occasionally in lines, I would push her and almost have her fall in the water. So, but it's my sister. It's
You guys
different
do it by
than
the
a
pool?
real time. Yeah, so you get out of the pool, you walk on the side of it.
No,
Yeah.
here's what
No?
they do after swim matches or water polo.
Yeah, why-
we
I
all
don't-
get
well,
out of the
why
pool.
do you-
Hold on,
None of
hold
us
on,
were
hold
on
Why
on.
do you
water
look
polo
over
team
there?
in
Why
high
do you look
school.
over there for that question? Go
Hold
ahead,
on.
Chris. Sorry about that.
We all get out of the pool. We walk into the gym dripping wet and then do the handshake line.
They go in the
Nowhere
gym.
near me.
I thought that maybe, you don't do it right by the
No, you do it on the pool
lip
side.
of the pool.
Chris, I don't
So
know
when
what
you
you're
do it
talking
during
about.
baseball,
Yeah.
do you do it on the field?
No, you kind of do
Yeah.
it behind home plate.
Is that the field or not?
Yeah,
Yeah.
guess.
So why wouldn't you do it next to the pool?
I don't
We
know.
do.
Because you could get knocked into the pool.
I'm not
That's
fighting
why.
with you, Emily. I'm fighting with
You
his
should do
thing.
it
He's
in
like,
the pool.
oh, you guys do it next to the pool?
Yeah, that sounds.
That didn't make any sense what he said.
Yeah.
Just because you mispronounce sodium doesn't mean
I
you have
didn't
to-
mispronounce it.
You
I,
did.
I
There
said
you
the
go.
wrong word.
Oh, here
No,
we
you
go.
said sodium.
Okay, but I
That's a
obviously said
mispronunciation.
sodium
It happens.
2 seconds before.
It's okay. It's okay. You're just sitting there. You're trying to get all.
Well, I
worked
just
up
don't understand.
again.
Oh, you guys did it next to the pool?
Yeah.
Where else would you do a handshake
I don't
line
know.
All
for
I
a swim
know
meet?
is when I
parking
walk out
lot.
of this studio and I get to where Taylor is, I'm going to walk with my back to the door. I got to see him at all times.
Are we doing our succession thing next?
Yeah.
We're doing our succession thing next. Emily's got a plan. That's next. Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
All right, when it comes to scoring great high
Live Imaging Tuesday on Travis and Sliwa. A Lakers Celebration Tuesday thanks to our friends at Michelob Ultra. We're celebrating all day long. Keep checking back with us. Meanwhile, producer Emily's got a fun game that involves succession in Lakers basketball, and how can that not be good? Take it away, producer Emily.
Thank you. All right, so I got a tweet from Crypto Ray, and he tweeted me last night and said, doesn't Austin Reaves remind you of Cousin Greg? And I was like, I don't know if that's exactly the comp that I would make. They just look similar, maybe, but not the same. But it got me thinking about what the comparisons between the Lakers team and the Succession universe would look like. All right, so obviously, number one pick off the draft is Logan Roy.
Sure.
It's going to be LeBron James.
No question.
Has been the head of his company for so long, been at the top of their game, the GOAT, essentially, in their industry for so long, but also not wanting successor. So you have these people that are behind you, but they can never take it up, and you never made a clear thing like, this is my person that's going to follow my footsteps as my successor. Does everyone agree with Logan?
I agree. I love that one.
All right, so the next one.
Love it.
You know what, Slee?
Next one is
Who's Kendall?
Kendall Roy.
We're getting there.
So
Be
it
patient
is Anthony Davis. So Kendall Roy should be the de facto heir to this throne. It should be that way. And clearly, at one point, LeBron underlined or crushed through Anthony Davis. He's inconsistent, and his highs are very high, but his lows are incredibly low. And you don't know exactly like where he is and what he wants and what's driving him. Okay, so he's kind of like he's a wild card, but his highs are incredibly high. All right, so D'Lo. Travis, do you want to explain why D'Lo is this character?
We were talking about this a little bit this morning, and I think that Roman and D'Lo come together for one very specific reason, and it has nothing to do with D'Lo's personality other than you go back to his first tenure with the Lakers when he was doing a little sneaky pick with Nick Young.
Right.
Remember? So the little sneaky pick is very Roman Roy-esque. That Roman Roy sent some sneaky picks to Jerry, so I think there's
I don't think they were sneaky. They were just
D'Lo thought those days were over.
DMs, are we calling that?
No, they were picks, but they were just very.
Yeah.
I don't think he was being sneaky about it. He was just sending them away.
I still like the little phone connection
Okay,
between
I like the phone
D'Angelo
connection.
and Roman.
That's good.
Right.
That's good.
All right, so next one is Reaves. So Reaves, to me, one, looks like Connor Roy. So he looks like the younger version of, what's his name? Alan
Ruck.
Alan Ruck. So he looks like the younger version of Alan Ruck. So that's right there. But you can't totally take him seriously. There's like a funniness to him. He calls himself I'm him. He says he's good at some very simple things, but you can't totally take him seriously as the number 3 or the successor to this person, even though, he's never said he wants it. Austin Reaves, Connor Roy clearly wants it, but he's wild card.
The only thing that I push back on this a lot, I like this, I think we stay with it, is that Connor Roy is completely incompetent and Austin Reaves is not.
Very competent, yes.
Austin Reaves is highly competent and Connor Roy is not, but I'm with you on that one too.
I think Austin Reaves also have a better way to connect with the Cleveland workers than maybe Connor Roy
By the
does.
way, you say Connor Roy, the actual character in Succession, is incompetent. He's competent at one thing. He actually has the best relationship with another person.
Yes.
Big fan.
He's emotionally competent. All right, and then we have Shiv as Russell Westbrook. Okay, so obviously let's pretend that
Russ making an
still there.
appearance.
Yeah, well,
All right, so
follow. This is good.
So Shiv thinks of herself very highly. And other people do, at times, think of her very highly in certain situations. So she might be doing really, really well. And everyone's like, oh, my God, how do we forget about Shiv? She's so good at her job. Same for Russell Westbrook. How do we forget about Russell Westbrook? He's averaging a triple-double for an entire season. But then Shiv and Russell might remind you exactly why they don't deserve to be the successor to this person. And then my last one is Darvin Ham as Jerry, because she takes a lot of crap from the main person, Logan Roy, and I'm sure that Darvin takes a lot of crap from LeBron, but sorts it through, is a good facilitator, and can, direct the team in the right direction, except for maybe when you run into Roman.
This is terrific.
Well done, producer Emily. Well done.
Can I add something to your Russell
I
Westbrook?
know Slee and Taylor were eating it up. That was good content for them.
I'm writing notes.
Russell Westbrook and Shiv, they only know one way to do it, right? They know how to do it their way, not team players. High highs, very low lows, and when it comes time to go, not the person you want running the show.
Is Tom Rob Pelinka?
No.
get
Rob
in,
Rob put together a pretty darn good team all of a sudden.
Yeah, I think Tom
What
could
has
put together
Tom
a good
done?
team.
What has Tom done?
Run ATN.
He's going to get capped, though, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, but
Who
he
knows?
was. I mean, he put together the entire, whatever you want to call it. I mean, he was.
The Gojo deal?
No. He was the connector to what we've seen play out in their timeline, in the Succession timeline, the last 6 months.
Yep.
If it's not for him, that doesn't go down
works.
that way.
Well,
Okay,
no,
so
Connor
would-
told him. But.
John and Steve watch Succession, right?
Yes.
Yes.
What would they say to all this? Would
We'll have to see.
they feel like that's pretty
We're
on?
gonna do that.
Well,
on
you can bring it up
brand?
during Super Crosstalk, which is about an hour away.
An hour away.
Super Crosstalk coming up at 12:55 p.m. when Mason and Andy Kamenetsky today, because John's traveling up to the Bay
But
Area.
Andy watches it. Yeah.
Don't forget Game 5 tomorrow night. Our coverage will begin at 5:30 p.m. The Toyota Lakers countdown to tip-off with Slee and tip-off at 7 p.m. We have all your play-by-play right here. Your Lakers playoff station, 710 ESPN. Meanwhile, Sunday Succession, did you watch?
I did.
Sorry to direct traffic there a little bit,
No.
but you weren't going to do it, so I did it.
Okay.
Sodom.
Did you watch Sunday's episode?
Okay, here's what happened.
Do you like that, Slee? Slee liked that one. Oh, Slee liked
This is
that
how
one.
I'm going to get Slee to
What
watch
one?
this.
You talked for a minute and then just looked at me? That
Here's
part?
how I'm going to get Slee to watch the show. So this week's episode is essentially
Still
the
scared of Black
Prestige-
Mirror.
The Prestige TV version of the dinner party episode of The Office. So it's essentially one for one, the same blow up, so big event, big dinner party. It's just the Prestige TV version of it.
I think you've sold him on it by just giving all of the Succession characters Laker parallels. I think that's all he really needed, and now he's all the way
Were you
in.
a big Office guy, Slee?
Yeah, I like that.
Oh, I never really watched much of it, but
I did watch the episode of Succession. What did you think?
again, as we've expected, a really crappy episode up until Tom and Shiv
The
was
conversation.
the most brilliant scene that the show has done in quite some time.
Soundproof windows for sure.
I mean, it was incredible.
To hear it actually a compliment for this season, that's a little bit of a surprise. So I guess it was a good episode.
It was the way that people actually that hate each other argue with each other.
No, absolutely.
They go
but
to
you
the
felt it. You
deepest,
felt every emotion.
darkest places of the other person's psyche, and that's what you wield against him, and that's what they did
Because
to each other.
Tom, more than anybody, has been the most human person we've seen this entire series. And to see him be human yet again with her, and now she's trying to be human, but I think she's starting to realize how much pain she's caused him.
I don't want to do a spoiler right here, but that when he swung the very heavy bat,
Yeah.
that was like, oh boy.
He got,
yeah.
He got her.
Yeah.
You can't come back from that.
No,
You
no,
can't
not
come back
not
from that.
with what's going
And
on.
she's hurt that he's a killer now, like she is. Because
Scorpion.
she never thought that, right? The scorpion. So I'm gonna get Celia a scorpion
That's
necklace.
a terrible gift. That's
yeah,
the
it wasn't
worst
great.
gift to get.
Wasn't great. Wasn't great.
Would love one.
Do you have any more traffic to direct?
No, I think you can lock this thing out.
Thank you.
It is a
Should've
live
gotten
imaging
him a rat.
Tuesday. It is a live imaging Tuesday on a Lakers celebration Tuesday. All day long, thanks to our friends at Michelob Ultra. Keep coming back, okay? Don't touch the bunyo. Take it away, Trav.
Thank you, Chris. Is this the most unlikely title run ever in any sport? That's next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
How are you?
and Sliwa.
Lit.
Oh, I thought the post was coming. What happened? Is this just an instrumental there, Taylor?
Just intro.
Oh, beautiful. It's also a Lakers Celebration Tuesday, thanks to our friends at Michelob Ultra. All day long, we are reacting and celebrating last night's huge Game 4 win and getting ready for Game 5 tomorrow night up in the Bay Area. That could be the knockout punch from the Lakers.
I'm ready for Game 1.
You're already looking at
Western
opponents.
Conference.
You're scouting
The Western
Denver and
Conference
Phoenix
Finals,
tonight.
huh?
Yeah.
The WCF?
I'm going to come back tomorrow morning. I'm saying, listen, Denver runs this. They do this pick and roll that they got with Joker. Like, Sliwa, what are you doing?
You still like Denver the best.
You don't think Joker's rattled after his whole run-in with the Suns owner?
$25,000 for barely putting your elbow on a guy. That's ridiculous.
But what's $25,000 to him, to us,
You're right, Em, but it's still $25,000. It's still a lot of money for
Love
nothing.
the flop from the owner.
It was a crazy
He
flop.
went flying.
An unbelievable flop.
For grazing him lightly with the skin of his elbow.
I'm telling you, I wouldn't have moved. I would have stayed down.
Take the charge.
Question, though.
Remember the ambulance come out?
Remember when we used to do the Serbian music rejoin? I know, it was Slee's favorite segment.
Yeah.
If the Lakers are playing the Nuggets in the WCF, do we bring back the Serbian music rejoin?
Well, I think
it's very 2021.
Why wouldn't we?
Well, I'm asking.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, if those who don't remember the story behind this, when Joker got drafted, there was a Taco Bell commercial that was on.
Right.
So while he was the two-time MVP, the dude that put up 53 in the last game, while he was getting drafted and was going to become one of the best players in the NBA, Taco Bell was promoting some kind of value that they whatever type of meal that they had going on, Taco Bell was in the middle of it.
And then you said something on the air, like ripping it or something. I'll get the official audio for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Of you saying, "Oh, whatever," and then I said, "You know what? Let's do a Serbian music rejoin."
There's some jams that you were
There
playing.
were some jams.
Some catchy tunes in there, for sure.
So we're going to bring that. Well, actually, I'm going to try to find it for 12:15 with Taylor. A little Serbian music rejoin on the fly here. Meanwhile, Travis and Sliwa are breaking down everything from the Lakers right now on your Tuesday.
Thank you, Chris. 20 for 20 last night, Slee. 20 for 20.
Free throw line, yeah.
25 out of 29 in the opening game, right? Is that what it was? That these are unbelievable performances from the Lakers at the line. Not only getting to the line 20 times, getting to the line 29 times, making virtually all of these foul shots. And I know that you're going to be scouting Phoenix and Denver tonight. You're looking forward to a Western Conference Finals opponent. And I get it, and I'm with you. But I know this. You and I disagree on this. Game 1 and Game 4 last night felt very, very close. A shot here or there, a missed free throw here or there. Steph Curry deciding to go to the basket instead of trying to take a super long three over a 7-foot guy. Draymond getting in a weird spot at the end of the game. We're talking about a play or two in each of these games, and it's 3-1 Golden State. The Lakers are better than the Warriors, but I think they're only a little bit better than the Warriors. The Warriors are not what they were when they won a title a year ago or any of the other 3 championships that they've been in or the other 2 finals appearances that they've made. That is still Steph Curry. That is still Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
And if there was ever a team down 3-1 that would give me pause, it's that group of guys.
So I just really believe that last night was the series for the Warriors. I didn't think the Lakers – I heard a lot of people saying that, hey, whoever wins Game 4 is going to win the series. I didn't agree with that. I thought if Lakers won Game 4, I just don't see the Golden State Warriors winning 3 games in a row against the Lakers. I thought if the Warriors won Game 4, 2-2 – I still think the Lakers could go win 1 out of 2 games up in San Francisco. So I didn't think the series was over, but I thought the Warriors had to have it. This is what I've noticed from the defending champs. I've noticed a team that has not figured out the Lakers through 4 games. They've had 3 different starting lineups in those 4 games. They've had very inconsistent performances.
No doubt.
But I give that sometimes somebody just misses a shot. And you just say, all right, he's going to hit that. If Klay keeps taking that shot, he's going to hit it. The problem with the Warriors, I feel like every time they're taking a jumper, there's a hand in their face. I feel like this pace that they're trying to run with, by the time you get to the fourth quarter, they do have some tired legs. Why wouldn't they? They've been running. For Steph Curry to get a good shot off, it takes a lot for him to get a good shot off. He had 31 points yesterday. Took him 30 shots to get there. I think what the Lakers are doing is much more sustainable. They led the league in free throws during the regular season. They lead it in the playoffs. That's probably not going to change.
Agreed.
Golden State Warriors got to the free throw line the least amount of times. the Lakers play really good defense. They got real size. They got length. It has clearly bothered the Golden State Warriors. The Lakers have Anthony Davis and LeBron James, 2 superstars. They have role players that seem to be stepping up each one of these games. I didn't think the Lakers would have a 3-1 lead on the Warriors. But now that they have a 3-1 lead, I have a very difficult time thinking something's going to drastically change and the Warriors are going to win 3 games in a row.
I don't think it has to drastically change. It just has to change a little bit. I think that's where our disagreement lies, is that the Warriors don't need to find a way to make up a 20-point differential. The Warriors don't need to find where they're getting blowed out of these games. They've been in, of their 3 losses, 2 of them could have gone either way. The Lakers won. The Lakers are better, but it doesn't feel to me like, hey, man, we got to find something. They have been searching, right? That they've had the 3 different lineups. They put Gary Payton in the lineup yesterday. Yeah. We barely
JaMychal Green, Kevon Looney.
Right? They're all over the place. I get it, but even with that, they're right there. Each team's blown the other one out once, so you can kind of just toss those aside as the outliers. But the 2 that have been close very easily could have gone the other way. I think if they get another close game, the Lakers will probably win again. They've executed much better down the stretch. I thought that possession where Draymond had the ball before the action had even started, and I'm going to give Darvin Ham a ton of credit on this, and I'll give LeBron James a ton of credit on this. LeBron was calling out to the corner while the ball's still on the right side. The ball's supposed to go to that left corner, right? Clay's in the left corner setting up to take that shot, and LeBron James is pointing at Anthony Davis, I would assume also yelling at Anthony Davis, hey, you need to get over there. Don't crash on Draymond. Let Schroeder do his work on Draymond. And it worked out. Everybody executed the end of game really, really well. I think this is where the Lakers' advantage lies. When it's come down to make or miss, it's gone the Lakers' way. When it's come down to execute or not, it's gone the Lakers' way.
By the way, wasn't that a concern coming into the playoffs?
For sure it was. Yeah. And it's been flipped around the other way. Mm-hmm. The Lakers are better. I think they're going to win the series. But those 2 games give me pause. Oh, okay, they're in great. I think they're in great shape, but I am not throwing dirt on this team yet. I'm going to wait until the dirt has been laid. They put the sod over the top. They put the gravestone on there, and here lies the Warriors dynasty. Because if they do get beat in this, that's probably the end of this group of guys being together.
That's what Michael thinks.
I really think that it's a real possibility. But until the stone is in the ground, I'm going to wait.
I understand. I mean, this is probably part of it that also gives me some more confidence about the Lakers. LeBron James has faced the Golden State Warriors a number of different times. This isn't his first rodeo against the Warriors. LeBron has come back from down 3-1 against the Golden State Warriors. If LeBron wasn't on this team, let me give you an example. If the Memphis Grizzlies were up 3-1 against the Golden State Warriors, I don't know if the Memphis Grizzlies, they're probably chirping, they're probably running their mouth, they're probably doing stupid things that's not going to help them once the game starts. Mm-hmm. Go listen to Bron, go listen to Anthony Davis, go listen to Darvin Ham. In this match of chess, as we like to call it, there is nobody saying, yeah, this is a wrap. No. There's nobody saying, and you're not going to hear any of that. And part of the reason why you're not going to hear any of that is for all the reasons that you just said. It's the Golden State Warriors. There is a respect to the defending NBA champions. I guess I might have overinflated what I thought of the Golden State Warriors because I don't think they're the same team they were a year ago. Andrew Wiggins isn't the same player from a year ago. That Jordan Poole is definitely, at least in this series, not the same player that he was a year ago. You have key pieces for their team. Don't forget, too, Andrew Wiggins missed how many games before the playoffs started?
30 or more.
Don't forget how bad the Golden State Warriors were. I'm going to use road games as an example. So far in the playoffs, they have played, let's play 7-4. They've played 11 games. They're 5-6 so far in the postseason. The Lakers, I think, are 7-3 or 7, whatever they are. Something of those 7-3, something like that. Okay, so I point all that out because I think it's easy for us to have a lot of respect for the Golden State Warriors because we should. They're the defending champs. They've earned that. I don't think they're the same team from a year ago, and I think the more the Lakers play them, the more we're seeing some holes. I get what you're saying, Al. Lakers didn't win every game by 30, but when Lakers need stops, they get stops. When in Game 1. I thought the Golden State Warriors had a chance to steal the game, but I don't think they deserved to win the game. I thought the Lakers deserved to win the game. So that's the only thing that I sit on.
They're not what they were a year ago. They're not that good, but they're still really dangerous. They're dangerous in the same way that LeBron is dangerous. In that, look, does he stand around more than he used to? Yeah. Is he not shooting the 3-point shot as well as he typically does? Yeah. Is he as explosive off the bounce as he used to be? Probably not. You really comfortable with him in the ball at the end of a close game? Hell no. Right? It's still LeBron James. I've seen it too many times. When it's over, great. I will celebrate the end of the Curry, Thompson, Green, Kerr, and whoever version of that. Awesome. Great run, fellas. What would that be? It'd be 6 appearances in the finals in 8 years, 4 championships. Good on you. Glad to see you go. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to wait till it's over before it's all, all right, bring on the Nuggets, bring on the Suns. Because the improbability of what the Lakers are doing just gets more and more unbelievable the deeper they go into it. What's today? Today's May 9th.
Yeah.
That we're sitting here on May 9th talking about having an opportunity for the Lakers to close out the Warriors in Game 5 of the second round, go into the Western Conference Finals as the
final
prohibitive
four
favorite, right? Mm-hmm. The only team that has better odds in Las Vegas, and take it for what it's worth. It doesn't mean they're the second most likely. It means they have the second best odds. The Lakers have the second best odds in Vegas, and just use your eye test. Are the Celtics beatable? Sure. Mm-hmm. Philly? Yes. Miami? Yes. New York, if everything breaks the right way, not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Can they beat Denver? Yeah. Can they beat Phoenix? Yeah. It's not that they're guaranteed to get there, but that it's even not a possibility, but maybe even a likely possibility is something that would have sounded absolutely absurd 3 months ago. Literally absurd 3 months ago.
There is, and it's, I like that perspective. And I mentioned this, that for me, yesterday was some triggered for me where it was no longer a part of, okay, can you how many games is this series going to go against the Warriors? Do the Warriors have the edge? Can you really beat the defending champs? You got to go get one on the road. You got all this stuff that came with the Warriors. Yesterday, to me, was the first time that you kind of started looking around. It's exactly what I did. I did Lakers Talk Daily this morning, and literally the only conversation was, look at all the other holes the other teams have. Mm-hmm. That no team is perfect, but it is not unrealistic now to sit here and say the Lakers is very realistic that they can get to the NBA Finals and win an NBA championship. They got a long path to go. But some years you look at it and it's a pipe dream. Sometimes you have certain teams out there that you're like, we're just happy to be in the mix here. The Lakers play defense. They have 2 superstars.
They're big.
They have role players. They have size. They have length. They got enough help from some of the other players. AD has been – I haven't watched every team in the playoffs. I know Devin Booker has been amazing. I know Joker has been amazing. But tell me another player that has been good offensively and defensively. Okay, other players might have better offensive contributions. AD has absolutely been the best defensive player of anybody in the NBA, at least from what I've seen in the postseason, and he's on your team. And LeBron isn't even having to be the player that he's been in the past. He's actually being guys, I'm going to try to keep a little bit of, can I keep a little gas in? Do I have to drive? Can I put the car in neutral for a little bit?
Yep.
Give me a couple miles, I can put it in neutral, and then I'll use it when I need to. That sounds like a very dangerous team to face in the postseason.
So the question is, not has Anthony Davis been the best player in the postseason at the halfway point, which is roughly where we are. I think he has been. It's can he be for the second half, and does he have to be if they're going to win that title? That's coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN.
The return of the Travis and Sliwa Serbian music rejoin.
The gods could be upset. We're jumping.
Well, you're the one that did.
I was just going to say, I'm looking right at you,
I just didn't
buddy.
know we were playing Joker music, you
Looking
know?
right at you.
Nuggets Lakers.
It wasn't because of Joker. It was because of you. This was your bit, the Serbian music rejoin, if you remember, way back in 2021.
Slee called it.
Yeah. So I just want to give you a little taste of what could be coming. But first, the Lakers need to knock out the Warriors. That could be tomorrow night up in the Bay Area. Game 5. Coverage begins at 5:30 p.m. right here. Your Lakers playoff station. Tip-off at 7 o'clock from the Chase Center. We'll bring you all the play-by-play. We'll bring you all of it. You know why, Slee? Because we're on the push to Banner 18. Your Lakers playoff station, 710 ESPN.
Do they just fly from San Francisco to Denver right after the game?
No, come on, Slee. Come on, Slee.
All right, guys. All right, that's the last one.
Just going to let that breathe for a minute. So
what if we're
can
going to
edit
the
that
desert?
Cleanly.
What if we're going to Scottsdale to play golf?
I think both you guys are flicking your
Well,
noses
it's either
at the gods.
Phoenix or Denver.
Well, you think they're going to win too?
I do, but I also am very respectful of vengeful gods, and I'm saying that I'm hopeful and optimistic that the Lakers are going to win.
Warriors are not beating the Lakers
Not
in
which
a row.
flight they're on.
They're not beating.
Yeah, the
Corgi thing
the
actually.
Corgi thinks
If there's
differently.
one thing that has worried me, it's been less about Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole, and Andrew Wiggins. The Corgi is throwing me off.
And what do the Corgi have? Warriors in
In
7?
In 7.
Yep.
Well, if
Winning the final 3,
Let me be
too.
very. If at this point, if we get to 7, they're probably winning.
Yeah, I that's trouble. You get to 7, that's trouble.
You gotta deliver the knockout punch tomorrow night.
I'd be more surprised they win tomorrow. I don't think I think the game to win is Game 6 here Friday night.
I think it's far more important that they win this Game 5 than it was they win the other Game 5 in Memphis. The Game 5 in Memphis, whatever, they were going to come back to L.A. They were going to win that series.
Yeah.
They were not going to lose 3 in a row to Memphis. The Warriors are a different beast.
Yeah.
They're a totally different team.
If the Warriors win tomorrow night, and we all have
It's
to come here
on.
Friday night for Game 6, there's gonna be a lot of nerves in the building. You know what I
There'll be
mean?
nerves.
There'll be nerves. So
Yeah.
he's gonna have to calm his hands down before pregame.
I'm in danger.
Maybe have a little sip of brandy. before
But
the
I
game.
think if there's a game, aren't you supposed to win the Game 6 here? That's why you stole home
Well,
court
they're
there?
supposed to, but, it doesn't always go the way it's supposed to. Sometimes stuff happens.
Warriors just keep playing like the Warriors. The way they've played, and
Sure.
Lakers keep playing the way you're playing.
Sure, that doesn't always go like that.
But what's the perfect
could be wrong.
NBA
It goes like
script
that.
is that the
be
Lakers
wrong.
Warriors goes Game 7. Steph's coming back from 3-1.
They tried yesterday. They got Scott Foster.
Well, maybe they wanted Scott Foster to make you have a false sense of
No,
security.
I thought he was the extender.
They wanted
That's
to
what we
suck
thought.
you back in. We'll see.
I had my eye watching Scott Foster's every move. I'm like, I see what you're doing there, Foster. You're not calling these fouls?
It's hard to have.
You're
the
not
ref-
sending Schroeder to the line 10 times?
So was Mason sitting next to you, or was producer Lindsay sitting next to you?
Mace. During the game, Mace.
Now-
Lindsay came a little bit early. She was sitting there for the end of pre.
So now, are you giving Mace talking points for today? Because here's the thing: Mace is going to say, "Oh yeah, watch the whole game."
Yeah.
Sitting next to Slee.
Mm-hmm.
And
No,
then
here-
we're like,
here's-
"Oh, where's the insight?"
Hey, Mace.
No, here's Mace during the game. Mace during the game.
He
is
puts
doing
on the
a couple
headphones,
things.
right?
He's putting on the headphones.
Because he says you talk to him too much.
Yeah, which is unbelievable. But
Wait, he
okay,
puts on his
let's
own
just say.
personal headphone? I think he meant to listen to the game.
No,
No,
so
yeah, that's what he does.
next
Oh,
to
okay.
me, next
No,
to me.
not like.
I thought like noise canceling headphones because he didn't want to listen to sleep.
No, what is he?
All right, next to
Never
me.
mind. Let's not do that.
Next to me, there's a setup. We usually have a guest in the pregame. Pregame will throw on the headphones. He's listening to the broadcast. He's talking on the broadcast. We're doing the pre. So that setup stays. So when Mace comes, he puts on the headset. He's listening to John and Michael for the
Okay.
game. So he's listening to John and Michael for the game. Mace is kind of just doing his own thing.
Is he making notes?
No, he's definitely tweeting. He's checking
Tweeting
Twitter.
more than Emily, or
Is that possible?
He's tweeting certain
6 tweets.
like he'll send photos. He sent. By the way, this is freaking
he's sending
hilarious.
photos of what?
This is freaking hilarious.
I know he's tweeting everybody that. Oh, my view. Yeah, we got it.
Take a look at this picture. I guess he mentioned this to me yesterday. I didn't know they did this during their show. I guess this was one of their
The
$100
sunglasses,
bets.
John, put the sunglasses on.
Did you see it or no?
I did see it.
Okay.
The
I
one
hadn't
they put
seen
him on
it.
the Jumbotron?
They put him on the
Yeah.
Jumbotron.
When they announce everybody.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he's tweeting that out. He's showing me that.
We'll do an hour on that today, probably.
Where him and I
Because they do the fun bits.
him and I will have an occasional conversation where we both take the headset off and say, Steph's freaking really good. and then he'll put his headphones back on. I'll put my headphones back on, and we'll both just watch the game. He did get up at one point, I think at the end of the first quarter, came back with some kind of soft drink. Could have been a Diet Coke, could have been
Did he get it from the press room?
No.
No.
I don't think he did. Because
so this was, he paid for a soda?
Yeah.
That's like
Paid for a
$8
soda.
at a Laker game.
Well, he's rolling deep these days.
So
that was
kind of in his own world.
It was a very good can opening. I felt that it was like stereo, where available.
If you thought Mace was yelling like timeout, no, 2-3 zone, he's not doing that. Yeah, he's not doing that.
Shocking that he didn't see the 2-3 zone. I'm sorry.
I could see Mace just sitting there and saying, "Sleet, listen, if they don't run this out of bounds screen on a..."
That's actually the great bit, is that Mace is drawing up plays to Sleet.
That'd be amazing.
Hey, they're going to run hammer action, left-hand corner. They're definitely running the hammer here.
Run the hammer!
Down to Darvin.
They're going to run the hammer.
That's awesome.
Travis and Sliwa continues your Tuesday right now.
Chris said something there that is just was what we're chance to close out the Warriors in Game 5 in San Francisco. It's stupid. It's crazy. It's absurd to think of where this team was. And I don't even want to go all the way back to when they were 2-10. They were 2-10, and I think that the Lakers had something like a 0.8% chance of making the playoffs or whatever that number was.
Yeah.
They are the team to beat right now. They are what they do, like you've laid out. They play defense. They've got a star player. I'm talking about Anthony Davis.
Yep.
Playing like a star player.
Yep.
They have a
get to the free throw line,
high-level
points.
second guy in LeBron James who could win any game that he needs to. And what the other thing they're getting, Slee, they get stops like you've mentioned. They're getting contributions from a person regularly. Last night it was Lonnie Walker. We've seen Rui do it. We've seen
the
Reaves
playoffs.
do it. We've seen D'Angelo do it.
How many different guys?
Like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
We saw Schroeder do it in the play-in game.
Schroeder's been the least talked about impactful player for the Lakers all playoffs.
He has been so much better for them this time through than the first time through.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's just he's just playing better or whether he understands his role better, but they have had a variety of role players step up, but most importantly, their best player has been their best player frequently. And that's something we haven't said about Anthony Davis in a few years. And it's so refreshing to think that you can look at Game 5.
Mm-hmm.
Now, look, if he had a clunker, I don't think anybody would be falling out of their chair. But I would be more surprised than I would have been a month ago. I would be more surprised if you get that really, like, oh, that really 12 points, 13 points, or whatever that average was prior to last night. They have the pieces you need to win a title, and that seemed ludicrous just a couple of months ago.
So we might be surprised. But let's just kind of – I'm curious to get your thoughts on this. When the playoffs started, when the postseason started, LeBron and Anthony Davis, they get Memphis in the first round.
Yep.
All right, you get through them. You get the Golden State Warriors in the second round, steal Game 1 right out the gate. I wonder how much – LeBron's been through everything. There's nothing he hasn't seen. LeBron and AD won a championship together just a couple years ago. The only time the Lakers have not competed for a championship is when AD's unavailable. He's only been available twice. He was available in 2020. He's available right now. It's the truth.
That's depressing, but
no,
true.
It really is. That he's had 2 straight years where he was injured, and that was
depressing. And true.
But he's available now.
Yeah, I know.
And he's healthy right now. As much as this might be a little bit of a surprise to us, I don't know if this is. I don't think LeBron and Anthony Davis coming into the playoffs are thinking in their head, you know what? We got nothing to lose, guys. If we lose, we lose. At least we got this far. And then you get past the first round. You know what, guys? It's the Golden State Warriors. If we lose, we lose. Let's just be proud of what we accomplished in this short span. I think that LeBron especially is delusional enough in his own greatness that when these playoffs started, what we're saying right now, anybody can be beat. Mm-hmm. I'm sure he was saying that before the playoffs started. You went from 16 teams down to 8. From 8 teams now, we're getting closer to 4. I wouldn't be surprised if that was kind of
I think he probably did believe that, but that's not the – that wasn't – the obstacle wasn't who else was out there. The obstacle was themselves. The obstacle was not, we can't beat Embiid or we can't, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. That's too. It was never that. It was never, what are you going to do with Jokic?
I thought it was more they're tired.
It was fatigue. And look, let's I don't even want to – LeBron missed some time right before the end of the year. 2 different people said, you should probably get that fixed. He said, no, I don't think so. I'm going to go see the LeBron James of feet, and he's played ever since. Mm-hmm. Anthony Davis has played the longest stretch of healthy basketball that he's been with this team forever. Really? And yeah, so it wasn't that the Lakers at their best can't beat Memphis or Golden State or Denver or any of these. That was never my fear why they couldn't go on a run. Fear was I just don't think you're going to have both of those guys for 2 straight months. That was the fear for me. Not that them at their best wasn't good enough. Them at their best is as good as anybody else, like you've been saying. But how often had they been at their best over the last 2 years? Not for 2 months in a row. It's what the playoffs are, a 2-month run, right? They had not had a 2-month run in years.
And that's coming off of the run they had to just get there.
That's what I'm saying. So you're talking about a 3.5, a 4-month run. And again, they're halfway through the playoffs right now. There's still a lot to go, but it has much less to do with the people they're playing against and much more to do with can they continue to be on the right side of the fortunes of injury or luck or the gods or however you want to say it, because they've been very lucky in that regard for the last few months.
All right, this just throw your way for what it's worth here. You know, last time they lost at crypto.
Was it the Clippers game?
It wasn't. Well, the Clippers was okay. Let me put it this way: the last time the Lakers lost their own home game.
Okay, so it's before that Clipper game. Is it that Dallas game?
There was one after.
Okay.
Remember they played the Chicago Bulls on a Sunday, and I want to say that's the game Bron. It might have been the game Bron came back.
I think you're right.
And they played Chicago twice in a row. One in L.A., and then they went to Chicago kind of randomly.
By the way, I want some credit for getting those all pretty close.
That was very good.
Thank you. That's all I wanted.
March 26th was the last time the Lakers lost the home game. The only reason why I mention that is...
Well, that can't last forever, right?
But just keep that in mind, because you've already started one round against the... First off, you had to beat Minnesota. You had to close out the regular season. Then you had to beat Minnesota. Memphis, they didn't lose a home game. Warriors, they haven't lost a home game. Here they are. We're almost... What is that? 6 weeks removed from that date. Almost 7 weeks removed from that date. Haven't lost a home game in that long. So when they say home court advantage doesn't mean anything, it's actually been everything for the Lakers.
Haven't lost one.
And they just went and stole one in both rounds.
All right, we got some Laker calls that want to get in on here. We'll do that as well. And plus, Slee, I called my shot on something the NFL is going to do years ago, and I think I got a little more right yesterday. That's coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710.
when Mace and Andy Kamenetsky will sit in here. Alan can talk about all the notes Mace made at the game last night when he sat next to Alan.
I never see. He kept asking, Doug Mann, who does our stats, I need more paper.
Yeah. Can you roll more paper for me? Plus, it's a Lakers Celebration Tuesday thanks to our friends at Michelob Ultra. We are reacting and celebrating all day long. So listen, if you got to go into the bank, right? You're running errands.
Yeah.
You got to go to lunch. Keep coming back. And if you're not next to a radio, you got the all-new ESPN LA app. Just search ESPN LA in your app store, Google Play. Download, tap, bang! You got 710 ESPN in the palm of your hands and in your ear, yo. So do that and spend all day with us. You excited for tomorrow, Slee?
I'm ready to go. It kind of bothers me we have a day off in between.
You want to go back to back?
I mean, might as well just make this happen.
So you said you wanted Denver, right? Is that what you landed on?
Well, that's why we did the Serbian music rejoin.
Well, no, he never really answered the question.
Yeah, Gosh, it's a good question. I'm going to say this. Okay, let's just pretend, hypothetically, Lakers they're in the next round, right?
Lakers-Nuggets, game 1 of the WCF.
Would you rather have Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and zero depth?
Yeah.
Or a real team? Denver's a team. Joker is one of the best players in the NBA. Jamal Murray's a fantastic player. But they got like a team. KCP is on there. Michael Porter Jr. I still lean kind of give me less of the superstars. Give me Denver. Give me a team that also hasn't been there
before.
It's
going to be Denver just for the reason that Devin Booker's shooting like 80%. That's not sustainable.
No,
as good as he is, that ain't happening. You're going to
So
get
do you
Denver,
want Denver
or
Phoenix?
I think I'd rather have Phoenix, but you're going to get Denver. Whoever advances to the Western Conference Finals is going to get Denver. See, just throw a little bit to the gods once in a while. They're happy. You can keep it moving.
I'm very tired. Not to complain, but obviously we had a quick turnaround from last night to here. And here's what happens when I'm tired. There's like a little voice just knocking on my head going, you know what you need to get that energy, Jack? You need carbohydrates. A good pizza.
Salt.
A pizza. No, salt's fine. But salt's fine every day.
See the donuts?
The donuts have been just staring and staring and
Oh,
staring.
Look, he's got a cup of coffee, just kind of the perfect
Are you
right
a dunker?
there.
Not really.
Yeah.
Don't need to dunk. Just take a bite and sip of your coffee.
I'm not a dunker.
Dunking's pretty good.
I'll dunk with a nice biscotti.
Yeah, I
That's
lose
good, too.
like 40% of the donuts going in.
You get all the donut shrapnel at the bottom of your coffee cup.
By the way, it's not terrible.
No, it's not terrible.
I just
You
don't
will
usually
scoop it out.
I don't dip for those reasons.
I told you about how I one time had this like cookie milk cold brew from a place here. It's called
with a bowl.
Home State. No,
straw.
not
Shared
the
it with her
bowl.
5 buddies.
But this place, Home State Tacos, they serve this. Essentially, they like soak their cookies overnight in the milk, and then obviously they drain out the cookies. But then they put it in your coffee, and it's divine.
It sounds good. It sounds kind of messy, but it
It's
sounds
definitely
pretty good.
sweet, but it's not like overpoweringly sweet.
Taylor, did you get your donut yet?
Did not go in the kitchen.
No, he's not
Look
going.
at
You're here all day. Are you going to be able to stay strong?
I'm debating whether the donut's going to give me a jolt or a sugar crash.
Both.
I don't have a lot of
I
sugar
think
in
both.
my life.
You're right.
Yeah, you're going to have that was awesome,
Yep.
and then you're going to want to take a nap by
Mason and Ireland
1:45.
show, you're going to have all this energy, and then it's just going to fall off at 4.
Because of the content or because of... Oh, sorry.
See, look what you did. It's your fault, Lee. you got to see.
Well, that
would
shot
go.
was too easy to take.
That's on you, Al.
Throw pump fakes.
Yeah, you can see pump fake them.
Travis and Sliwa continues a live Imaging Tuesday on a Lakers Celebration Tuesday right now.
Thanks, Chris. So the NFL schedule comes out Thursday, so we'll know not only who, but in which order everybody's playing everybody. New little thing on the schedule this week or this year that they've never done before that I think is another step in the direction of something that I've been saying they're going to do for years. So here's what the NFL has right now. They have Sundays locked up. Right? They got Monday night locked up.
Yep.
They've got Thursday night locked up. They're on 3 days a week. They're going to have what they're calling a Black Friday game. Okay, it's the Friday after Thanksgiving. They're going to put an NFL game in that Friday slot. Okay. We already know that they play games on Saturdays in December. Okay, so now you've got kind of
Postseason games too.
Yep. But you got. I'm just talking just straight regular season. You've got games on Monday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We've seen that they can manipulate the schedule. When we had the COVID season, where there were games on Tuesday nights and Wednesday nights.
There were Tuesday afternoon games.
Everybody got...
It's like, I got to get out of here. Pittsburgh's playing Detroit.
Right. Everybody got what they needed. Everybody got their 17 games in. And I know the arguments against that the play would be bad, that player safety would be compromised, and all these things. The NFL is working to a schedule where they have a game on, if not every night of the week, 4 or 5 nights of the week consistently. They're going to find another day to put NFL football on. And this is another toe into the water to see if Friday night's the best one, because Friday night, obviously not a ton of people in front of your TVs. Black Friday obviously is different.
Yeah.
But the NFL is the one sport where we do not have a saturation point, or at least we haven't found it. The only month that there's no NFL football is June. That's it. Every other calendar month has an NFL event in it that we pay a ton of attention to. They want more games more often. They want to own every night of the week in the fall.
So I don't know if part of that game plan, I mean, I get it on Saturdays, you're competing with college football. I'm sure there is and I'm not sure if college football doesn't also, if you start kind of dipping into, just as an example, you start dipping into, the NFL starts saying, well, we're going to have a premier game on Saturdays now. We're going to do that a little bit. It's so close to Sunday. If we're talking about a health issue or any of that kind of stuff, you can't really make a case for the health issues, the Thursday games. If
and
it's a
shown
Friday,
they don't give a damn.
They don't give a damn. And if it's a Friday or a Saturday, you're actually closer to Sunday anyway. So I don't think you could really say it from that perspective. See what the Players Association says. Maybe you start having a mix of the NFL saying, I know it's probably, we've allowed you guys to kind of keep your own territory on a Saturday. We're probably going to throw in a game here.
They don't give a damn.
A game or two here on a Saturday.
Exactly.
I mean, they'll lose out in certain regions. Like, they'll lose out in the South. The South will watch their college football game over the NFL game any day of the week.
Look, there's certain Ohio State, Michigan, all these that
there's
are going to...
There's a few, but they're not nearly enough.
There's not nearly enough.
They shouldn't do Saturday, though.
Okay, let's say...
Shouldn't is different than won't. They don't care. They want to have eyeballs on their product.
Let's do this.
That's it.
Forget about what they want. The question comes down to, does the consumer care? Mm-hmm. Because, you might say it's sacred. I might say I'd rather have an NFL game to watch on a Saturday night than Arizona
UCLA,
versus whatever.
Arizona, or Jacksonville against Cleveland in the NFL. Give me the NFL game.
I have no connection with a lot of these college programs, period. The NFL, there's only X amount of these teams.
Yep.
Okay, that could have an effect. I want to see this player on that team. It's not about, I get what you're saying. You shouldn't do that. It's Saturday, it's this. Do you think the NFL cares? What the NFL wants to know is, if we put it there, are you going to watch it?
Yes.
And if you're asking me that question, and I'm with you on this, if you put a game on a Friday night, and can college football do the same thing? Can they say, well, we're going to grab one of our premier games.
Go ahead. Give it a shot.
And we're going to put it on a Sunday.
Sure.
They just
give it a shot.
Who's got all the weight
See
here?
That works.
Of course, the NFL's got all the weight.
So Sunday works the best because it's the day before the weekend start, or the work week starts, and you have all this time. You can sit on your couch and watch everything. Friday and Saturday night, you're going to lose people. People are going to be out doing things, and understand that's not the biggest thing.
On two things. It doesn't have to be a Friday or Saturday night. It just needs to be another night, regardless of where it is.
Then people are going to get injured, and it's going to be bad play.
Emily,
it's
they
going to
don't
be
care
worse.
about that. They don't care about either of those things. If they cared about that, they wouldn't be playing on Thursdays.
But they could get progressively worse until people start to care about how bad the games are. Because people hate the games on Thursdays because they are bad.
They'll take that chance.
They'll
take that chance until they need to adjust.
They watch them. You watch them. I watch them. I agree. We came in when not Atlanta, Denver and Indianapolis, where Al Michaels was like, "This might be the worst football game I've ever." We all
the
watched
Bears and
it.
the Commanders.
The Bears and the Commanders. Another dreadful game.
But
You're
will we
absolutely
keep on watching it if it keeps on being as bad as it is over time?
We've
who knows?
already proven that we do.
I'll tell you this. But for every bad game that you have in the NFL, there's a good chance you also have a good game. So it's going to happen. Let's use the NBA playoffs as an example. There have been a lot of blowouts. There have been a lot of games where I'm like, this is awful. Okay, you just change the channel. That happens. And then there's a game like yesterday. It's coming down the final couple of minutes. I think it happens in every sport.
But Black Friday works just because
that's unique.
Yeah, it's a holiday.
That's unique.
We're all watching TV.
I'll take Saturday.
But
I'll take Saturday.
Tuesday? Push it back, then you play the next Monday?
I'd rather have it, I think, on a weekend than I would on a weekday.
They'll figure it out. They'll do what's best for them, because no matter where they put it, we're going to watch.
And if there's
still
good
be 10 or 12 games on a Sunday, there'll still be red zone.
And if there's a good college football game on a Saturday as well, sounds good. I'll flip back and forth.
There's 16 games. You can't. You've got 3 standalones on a Monday, a Thursday, and one other Sunday. That still leaves you 13 more games to sprinkle around. There's
Spread
plenty
between
of games.
3 time slots.
No,
so you have
it's just
2
one. It's just one in this
on
scenario.
Sunday.
No. What I'm saying is,
I
when
think
they
Emily
finally
works for the NCAA.
Yeah, the Players Association. They'll push. They always win. That's why whatever the NFL owners want, they get. The Dump coming up next. It's Trav and Slee. 17.
The smoking good times are back at Morongo on May 21st. Enjoy cigars from the world's finest vendors, scotch sampling, delicious food. Hosted by big game James Worthy. Get tickets now on Ticketmaster. Morongo, good times.
Fire off that EAS test. There we go.
Everything we haven't gotten to today. Yes, it's time for the dump.
So tell me what you make of this, Al. Dodger 5th starter Noah Syndergaard was talking in an article about how he's trying hypnosis to try to unlock like the last part of his comeback, that he had a arm reconstruction, doesn't feel like he's throwing quite as hard as he used to, and he feels it's more of a mental block that he's dealing with than a physical limitation. When you were reading that, what kind of goes through your mind? Because I had a very specific reaction to it.
That he's really in his head. Like, if you're going to that extent, that means you're really in your head. Listen, I think there is something to, whether it's in sports or just in life, whatever it is, confidence does have a lot to do with your success, having success or not having success.
Couldn't agree more.
So whatever it is that you need to tap into that, go ahead and do it. But what I take from this is, damn, he's really in his head. He's deep in his head. Mm-hmm. It's not just a, you know what, I had a bad day. Give me the damn ball, and I don't care who's at the plate. I'm going to be who I am, and I'm going to, as best as I can, be the pitcher I am. Just use that as an example. That's what I took from it. I took from it that he's deep in his head, but I'm completely okay with somebody trying something different to say, will this help me?
So You said something I think is so underrated but incredibly true. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's you're trying to meet somebody. I don't care if it's you're at work. I don't care if it's walking down the street. And I sure don't care if it's at athletics. If you have confidence, stuff's going to break your way. It just does. There's some cosmic force in the universe that when you feel good about you, good stuff happens to you, right? You kind of attract more of that positive energy. He does not have that right now, and he's looking to try to find some of that positive energy. The other part is I dig that he's willing to try hypnosis because they've probably tweaked his mechanics a little bit. They're probably saying, oh, your elbow looks good, your knees are good. Everything mechanically is where it's supposed to be. We're not quite getting the result. You want to try hypnosis? And he's like, yeah, because I think a lot of people would push back on it. Like, well, I know, I'll figure it out. That he's willing to try everything that there is to try, I kind of admire him for that because I think a lot of people would, A, either not do it at all or B, conceal the fact that they're doing it. I like that he's leaning into it.
It's okay to, I think sometimes, especially in sports, I think there's a lot of this where, I'll figure it out. It's okay to go get help. It's okay.
For sure.
Right? Like even people in just their normal life, whatever it is. Hey, you went to go see a professional, a therapist who this is what they do for a living. Maybe they can offer you some insight. Maybe it doesn't help you out. But I think just the thought and the idea of let me try something different, I think is the right thing to do.
So I don't know if the Lakers the Dodgers during the All-Star break last year in town, if they had nothing but post-game spread of oysters and everything else, but another Dodger has joined the paternity list. Caleb Ferguson, who, by the way, has been pitching really well for them since coming back. He is on the paternity list. That would make 5 or 6.
I think it's 5 and then 6, including Cody.
Mookie.
Yeah.
Cody.
Yep.
Max. Evan Phillips, and now Caleb Ferguson.
Wasn't there someone else in there, like Gratterall, maybe?
Yeah, Gratterall. You're right.
Yeah,
6.
Yeah,
You're right. 6 different Dodgers or former Dodgers have landed on the paternity list, all within the span of a month.
They need 8 to break the record. I went back to ESPN stats and info.
That can't be a coincidence, right?
No, it's not.
I don't know if this was like they made some team pack like, hey, guys, what we're going to do is during the All-Star break, we're all going to try to go have a baby. I mean, it seems like a weird club to join just to join. That's a very specific
break
thing
on 3
that you want to do, but I can't come up with a better explanation.
All the girls
6
were
guys.
friends, and There's lots of reasons why women who are friends.
Are you alleging sabotage in some of these?
No, I'm not alleging sabotage. I'm alleging that when you're friends with people, there are things that happen with women that get on the same track.
I understand. Yeah. Yes. Now I'm with you. Chris Haynes reporting that the Lakers would give Patrick Beverley, Russell Westbrook rings if they won. In fact, anybody that was a member of this particular Laker team, the Lakers have said that they will extend championship rings to. I still think we're right back where we were, which is it's a nice offer, but you would expect anybody that's not on the roster when the confetti is falling to respectfully decline.
So this is new to me. It is. I guess I just haven't paid attention to it in the past. I didn't think this was a thing. Maybe in certain scenarios, okay, might be some, might not be. But Patrick Beverley and Russell Westbrook specifically, those two players specifically.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out how both of those guys, the Lakers, look, we're not even halfway home, so we got a long way to go. Let's see what happens. I'm trying to figure out how Patrick Beverley would take that call and say, absolutely, I want that NBA championship ring, and then I also want to show it to my friends and say, guys, I want a ring. I got a ring. I want a ring. I was with the Los Angeles Lakers. What do you mean? Well, I was with the Lakers. Remember when they traded me at the trade deadline, and then the team got a lot better once I was gone and once Russ was gone, and then they actually went on a run as a team and won an NBA championship? That's how I got a ring. Everyone would walk away incredibly confused of that conversation. I haven't. None of that has registered for me.
No,
yet.
it is deeply illogical. it really is. But okay. I think you're right to point out that the Westbrook and Beverly factors of this, because the Westbrook trade not only brought in D'Angelo Russell and James Vanderbilt and all these guys. Yes, wonderful. But it was also very specifically his departure that kind of just lightened the mood, shall we say, in Lakerland. Patrick Beverley, I think, similar but to a lesser extent. Mm-hmm. What about a guy like Thomas Bryant?
Juan Toscano Anderson,
who competing in practice, helping you get ready for these games. That really wasn't a negative. They weren't a positive either.
Yeah.
They're just kind of along that this is one of those, I was there for it. I don't wear it because I wasn't there when the final buzzer sounded, but I was a part of it. Do you cut them a little slack?
I'm more sold on them because I don't feel like they impacted one way or the other. Where I feel like Russell Westbrook and his contract has a lot to do why the Lakers got better. They got better by using him to leave.
Cool ring. I don't ever remember seeing you. No. I was the guy that got all the guys that won this thing for us.
So if you said to me...
And then, by the way,
my value.
I'm kind of talking myself into that he deserves one of these all of a sudden. Because if Russell Westbrook weren't that toxic, if he weren't that big of a negative
or just that bad
reality,
of a fit,
then they didn't have to get him out to that degree. Maybe D'Angelo Russell never comes. Maybe Vanderbilt never comes. Maybe Austin Reaves never gets put back in the starting lineup. That maybe he was the skeleton key that unlocked all of this.
At least for me, maybe that's why the Lakers are offering him the rings. At least for me, if I'm Russell Westbrook and I get that call, hey guys, look, we're going to do this as a courtesy. Do you want one of the championship rings?
Think they phrase it quite like that.
That's how I would phrase it. We feel like we're forced to do this.
All right.
Under any circumstances.
Yeah.
Russ, do you want us to send you out the ring? And if I'm Russell Westbrook, I just say, hey, I appreciate you guys paying out that contract. I got to go. And then I hang up the phone.
Today is National Sleepover Day. I think we've talked about this before. Emily, if I had to guess, you were very much team sleepover with your girlfriends as a kid.
Yeah, I love sleepovers. I was a big fan. We always had sleepover movies. That's what I talk a lot about. Like, it's like there are specific movies, and I'm like, this is taking deck right into sleepover time.
Was this like, I obviously, you had a different experience than I did, but boys, you'd watch a movie, you'd mess around with baseball cards, or play Nerf hoop, or go doorbell ditch. Like
Nerf hoop. That's a good one.
Loved playing Nerf hoop in my bedroom. Was the stereotypical girls, like, are you doing makeup and hair and all that
makeup,
kind of stuff too?
Truth or dare. You do face masks. You do nails. But you still do some like fun, like go out and play in the yard kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's also a mix of.
I liked having people come to my house. I hated going over to other people's houses. Like, I wanted to sleep in my own bed.
I liked the other houses.
Really? Why? Better snacks? Better things going on?
Yeah, I usually I love my parents' house, but they didn't have the biggest TV for a long time. We didn't have a finished basement either, and so that was a big thing. So, like, you want to be in the basement with, like, privacy with you and your friends.
Or was there, like, plumbing just running through the basement?
No,
you didn't
it's
have
just
the
walls
plywood
aren't up, and yeah.
Yeah, this is a very Eastern, Midwestern thing where you got basements.
Yeah, basement, I'm like, that doesn't... That's another $600,000. You know.
Well, I don't think I've ever seen a house in California that has a basement. I'm sure they exist, but they're pretty rare. That's a Midwestern thing. We can ask Andy and Mace. They grew up in the Midwest. They probably had some basement activities as younger men. Let's do a little super crosstalk.
ESPN AM 710 Los Angeles.
KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
K256CX 99.1 FM Pasadena, Los Angeles.
It's the greatest segment in LA sports radio history.
Oh my God. When the shows come together for magic on the radio.
It will only grow stronger. Super Crosstalk.
Are we ready for Mason and Ireland to join Travis and Slee?
Super Crosstalk begins.
Super Crosstalk presented by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger is all about.
It's time for Super Crosstalk.
Quick update. Chris took the donut plunge, Slee. He's in the other room. He was on the fence whether he was going to do it or not.
wrapped it in bacon?
No, it just looks like a plain old glazed
So
one.
I don't know what happens. Does this kind of open up the door where
Would for
one
me.
becomes three?
It does for me.
It
That's
would
the
for
way
me.
I roll. It's not. If I eat one,
Then
it's
all
like
hell breaks
over.
loose.
It's off to
one.
the races.
It's
Right.
like drinking, right? There's no fun in having.
It's a
one
gateway
drink.
drug. The donut is a gateway
Donut
drug.
is a gateway
That's
to pie and cake.
Eclairs?
Yes, eclairs,
Well,
crullers.
it's a gateway to diabetes.
Yes,
is what
it is.
It's-
Anything filled with custard, this is the gateway to that. By the way, those are pretty good. Like bite or two, a little
Diabetes.
Not a bad way to do it. So, did you have a basement as a kid?
Yeah, did have a basement. That's where I smoked my first joint. Was in the basement when Mom and Dad weren't home. We had a basement. It was finished basement. We called it the family room. And this is the honest to God truth. We had a gun rack over the TV in our family. Family of hunters and fishermen and stuff. We had a gun rack right over there. I mean, it was very sort of redneck of us, but we did have a gun rack over the TV.
Guns and weed.
Yeah, guns and weed. Yeah, an excellent combination.
So would you have today's National Sleepover Day?
Oh, yeah.
Would you have your friends over, and that's where you'd smoke joints and watch cartoons, or what's going on down there?
I'd say that's what the basement was kind of for. There are no basements, I don't think, in California.
No, I've never seen one.
Yeah.
Andy, you grew up in the Midwest. Did you guys have the basement
Yeah,
activities?
I mean, it's tornado country.
Yeah, we also had to run down there when there was a tornado. That was the other thing.
There's a reason to have a basement.
Yes,
there is. That I think that actually is the reason in the Midwest is you are concerned about that particular element.
I thought you guys just like big screen TVs and pool. Every basement
we
I
do.
ever went
Yeah,
to.
no pool table. We did not have a pool table.
Oh, that's like.
But that's like
ping pong, maybe.
No ping pong. No.
I mean, they used all the money on the guns.
There was a friggin' yeah. By the way, and there was also a piano. So piano, guns, and weed. That was our basement.
It's rather eclectic.
Yes, it is.
How often did Ted Nugent come
Yeah, yeah. It does sound like that, doesn't it? Yeah.
So we were talking. You sat next to Slee at the game last night.
I did. Yeah. Oh man, that guy will not shut up.
I was just gonna say,
just
what do you guys talk about?
yammer. I don't even know what half the thing is. I try to keep this ear covered so that I don't. But still, he's like tapping me on the shoulder.
Yeah.
He's like,
I come around to the
how
other
about
ear.
that high screen and roll? It's like just random stuff.
I go around to the other ear because if I see this ear is covered, then I'm saying to myself, okay. Is the other side open? If it is, I got no problem just walking.
Yeah, I'll tell you, he's
around.
a talker. He is a talker.
So do you guys just sit there in silence and not speak to one another?
I'm not a big. I sort of lock into the game. Like I'm actually paying. It was a great game. It was a really fun game. We had brief conversations. I think
Only time we talked literally was. You would either show me something on Twitter. I saw something on Twitter yesterday that threw me off.
Can you share what it was?
Just threw me off. Yeah, share.
No, I retweeted it. I ran into Coach Dave Miller, who's a beloved figure around here, and Arash Markazi, who is also a beloved figure. So the two of us,
Arash, by the way,
three
started
of us,
his own
he's got his own sports site.
Tribune.
So it's the three of us in a picture, and I did retweet it.
You, Coach Miller, and Arash?
And Arash.
So
yeah.
it was
it's
just
very odd.
It was a random. It was
That's guns, weed,
like the Three Stooges. Yeah.
Trav, it was a random three, right? So I'm just kind of scrolling through Twitter while the game's going on. So I asked Mace, explain.
Yeah, no, it was a weird one. It was a weird one to pop up. Yeah, it was a weird one.
Weird three group of people.
Although the best thing of the night was yesterday we had that the standard $100 bet. Ireland and I have like $100 going back and forth between us. Last night was Woody wears sunglasses indoors when they introduce the announcers, and there's Ireland, sunglasses on, arms outspread like I am the gift to the world.
He looked so comfortable.
It was awesome. It was
that
awesome.
Ireland, so wacky.
So wacky, so goofy.
What is this whole Coach Dave Miller is beloved here?
He's beloved.
I
He's
take
a beloved
the clapper
figure.
side of the
He's a beloved figure.
argument. He is?
Oh, he's a beloved figure.
Is he?
Yeah, he texts all of us all the time.
Well, that's
Not
so
me.
he texts you. That doesn't make him beloved.
we text back and forth.
That doesn't make him beloved here.
No, his lovely daughter Sammy is.
Well, I'm sure
is
his
a
daughter's
student
lovely,
at
but I
the
just don't understand this.
Cronkite School. of
You're posting pictures
Broadcasting
with
in
Dave
Arizona
Miller
State.
like it's some.
I didn't post it. I just retweeted it.
Who posted it?
I think it was
Dave.
Coach Dave Miller.
Shocking that he would post that.
Yeah, no, I thought
Shocking.
it was nice. It was fun talking to those guys.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah, it was fun.
Oh man.
Oh man.
What kind of donut did you have?
It was not worth it.
No.
What was it?
You look depressed.
I'm depressed for what
Cruller?
I did.
Eclair?
No,
Glazed?
it was glazed with the pink frosting, some sprinkles.
Yeah.
But
Didn't
I'm
work.
a
Might
little,
as well try the other ones now.
No.
See, don't you think that
You're
might
saying-
as well
well, now
after
just try 'em.
one, the second one goes
You're saying
down
call
so
my
easy.
friends at Prime Pizza to balance it all out?
Oh, I've
is
heard
that where you
worse
get your
ideas
pizza?
than
Prime
that.
Pizza?
Prime Pizza.
Oh,
There's one in Little Tokyo
place
that's
is great.
amazing.
I love
So
Prime
good.
Pizza. It's that great thing.
Which one do you
crust.
go to over there? Is it the one? I'm trying to think what's close to your house. There's one in Manhattan Beach now. There's
Yeah, it's
one
not the-
in Burbank. There's one in. I think they have one in like Santa Monica.
I think it's Santa Monica. Yeah.
Prime Pizza. Our
Oh,
friends
Prime
over there.
Pizza's
It's
I gotta
delicious.
try this. I've never had it.
And their
it's the
ranch,
best.
So good.
they sell bottles of their ranch. It's incredible. You
Yeah.
could buy a bottle of ranch and just shoot it all over your pizza. Bam! Maybe you could go have some Prime Pizza with Dave Miller.
And
Yeah,
Arash.
I don't know.
And then
what
with sunglasses
what do you have
on.
against What do you have against Dave Miller?
I don't have anything against him, but you make it
you're
seem
a Dave
like
Miller attacker.
Coach Dave Miller is like, oh God, and we all love
he's
him.
a great guy. I did pregame with Dave Miller the year we won the championship.
Oh, those were some good shows.
Those were some good shows. We won a title.
Well, guess what? We won a title with playoff sleep.
I'm not taking anything
and
away
maybe,
from playoff
just maybe,
sleep.
we're knocking on another one.
How is that possible? How are that? We were literally talking about this 3 months ago.
What? There's a photo of Arash Markazi?
No.
Me and Coach Dave Miller?
No.
How is that possible?
But that one is as equally in that same realm. But how are we 3 months ago? Travis was mentioning, he's like, can you imagine somebody saying 3 months ago, hey, Lakers, they got a real shot to win championship number 18.
Not only that they're still playing, but they got a really good look at it.
Favored to go to the finals.
What?
And
after starting on 2-10.
When you and I did the pregame show, we did not have a championship.
We did not.
You were kind of during the dark years.
Oh, we were the Luke Walton years, the Lonzo Ball, Julius Randle, the first
rough.
D'Angelo.
Tail end of Byron Scott.
The tail end of Byron Scott. Yeah, we did not have a ton of success.
Well, I will say, and Travis, you'll remember this.
Didn't scar me at all either.
I loved the kids. I actually did like the kids a lot. I found them very fun.
I'm with you on
exciting.
that. I'm with you on that. I kind of fall on that little. There's that where you have no idea what this team's going to be, and there's so much. It's blind hope.
Well,
there is no.
Yeah, but wait a minute. Here's what they're going to be: 6 years under 500. That's what they're going to be.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's the part that wore
it's
on
cool.
me.
It's fun. It's the kids. It's all
fun
that stuff.
for
But
a
I mean,
month.
Yeah.
And then how many more years are they
No,
going to lose 50 games?
The real question is if you're able to grow your own crop, but at the same time go get those free agents. Lakers were never able to do that. It was they got one free agent, and then you got to ship them all out.
No, they used the kids to
go get AD.
The guy.
I know you're a Succession fan.
Yes.
Andy, are you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Emily, you want to lay out your Laker Succession theory?
All right, here's my Lakers Succession comparisons. Okay, so I tried to match up like the main guys.
Okay, got it.
All right, so we got LeBron as Logan,
Yep,
obviously.
no question about it.
GOAT in his industry, top of everything. Is always trying to name his number 2 or successor, but never actually gives that person.
Hasn't passed the
waiting for someone to rip it out of his hands.
It's cold dead hands.
And he hasn't given them even like the ability to take it. It's like he doesn't treat them or doesn't set them up well.
Yes.
So next is Kendall.
Kendall
is AD.
Okay.
Who is the presumed successor, the person that should take it.
Was originally going to be the guy.
Exactly.
Has his moments.
Yeah, has his moments.
But we can see
Living
that
plus.
where LeBron has both either underlined or crossed out AD at different points in times, but his highs are high and his lows are very low. So he's inconsistent, and that's his main thing against him. All right,
like that.
And sometimes he just doesn't show up. All right, so we got D'Lo as Roman. So Travis, you explain that.
So this is a very specific connection that I've made for D'Angelo Russell as Roman. As we saw in the most recent episode, that Jerry has in her possessions photographs.
Oh, yes, she
right?
does. Yes.
There's a very famous recording that D'Angelo Russell had of Nick Young a few years ago. So I decided to put those
Jerry
two
is his Jerry is
Nick Young in this
Nick
situation.
Young.
Nick Young in that situation. Okay.
Yes. So that's
or Iggy Azalea, depending on how you want to look at it.
Right.
You're right. You're right. That might be better.
All right, so next we have Reaves, who is Connor, mostly because he just looks like Alan Ruck and a young Alan Ruck, and that you can't really take him super seriously. He's
Cameron
competent.
From Ferris Bueller and Austin Reaves is pretty good.
I see that. Actually. I see that.
And that people think he's a joke, kind of, because everyone's like, oh, it's like that, white guy playing NBA, like he's going to be a 3-and-D kind of guy, but he's not that. And so Connor is also a joke, but he's also a little more different than that.
Here's why, and this I like this, but there's a disconnect, because Connor Roy is incompetent. Austin Reaves is highly
competent.
Future President Connor Roy that you're talking about?
No, apparently he's polling really well in
Alaska.
4 or 5%.
Well, he's got Mencken nervous. He does actually have
He's
Jared
trying
Mencken.
to get the endorsement.
But he is not as competent as Austin. Austin Reaves is a competent individual in the organization.
Can I tell you, I interviewed Alan Ruck on my podcast, and he says that he believes that Connor is on the autism spectrum.
He plays it like that.
Yeah, he says that's in his head.
Yeah.
That's the way he approaches the role.
That works.
Yeah.
All right, so we got 2 more. We got Shiv,
Yep.
who is Russell Westbrook. So we're playing with this a little bit, but it's Shiv is Russell Westbrook because they think that they're the best person for the job. They think that they're the top person out there, and they have glimpses of it. and they also both only play their way. They only play their one way, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
And it works under a very specific set of environments where if it's her show, it's fine. The second she has to collaborate, the whole thing breaks down.
It's true. Okay.
Right, exactly. So that's Westbrook. And then the last
Poor
one
Westbrook.
is...
Poor Westbrook.
He's going to get a ring.
No, he's not.
He's not going to take a ring.
Well, he's going to get off.
Patrick Beverly's going to take Russ's ring.
Yeah, no.
He'll take 2 rings.
He's a 2-time champion.
All right. One last one, guys. So it's Darvin Ham is Jerry because Jerry took a lot of crap from Logan, probably will take a lot of crap from everyone else, but she kind of is the mastermind between all of this and just kind of lays out the groundwork for people to go and work. So
I
that's
think
where
Darvin is it Carl?
Could be Carl,
like the
too,
CFO?
yeah.
The CFO. I think Darvin is the CFO. I think he's Carl.
That's
Carl
a better
has
choice.
got some
and also,
great
too, whenever
speeches.
you're a coach, you're always thinking about a golden parachute.
Yes, it's
You're
true.
always on the verge of a golden parachute.
Yes. By the way, last night, Nicholas Braun was at the game. The
That's
guy who plays Cousin Greg.
right?
Yeah, I thought,
Isn't he like genuinely really tall?
so tall?
He's like 6'7".
He
wow.
So he walks down the aisle there behind the front row. I don't know where he was sitting, but he's so tall, everybody sees him, and everybody knows who Cousin Greg. He's just waving. People are waving to Cousin. Hey, Cousin Greg!
The Lakers have always had crazy star power, right?
Yeah.
But it does feel like we're ramping back up again.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Because
No,
it's
been impressive.
gone. Jack, obviously,
Yeah.
right? So that's the pinnacle.
They will not lose in front of Jack Nicholson.
You're right.
But
Wouldn't dare.
There was a moment where there felt like there were some lesser than the heavy, the Denzels, the DiCaprios that we're trending back in the right direction again.
Hell, we got
they're
Michael
all there.
Keaton sitting behind us.
That's right.
Sitting behind us.
How was Keane in Section
Yeah, I
200?
don't-
Was he
no
not there
idea.
last night, Slee?
He wasn't there.
Well, some of these guys do not want. They actually specifically don't want to be courtside. Like a guy that's like
Andy Garcia.
Andy Garcia doesn't really want to be courtside.
Yeah,
He sits in really, really good seats, but not courtside.
Got a fist bump from Andy Garcia one time.
Did you? Nice.
So you and I, we sat together at one leg. It was you, me, and Ramona. Remember we were right behind the baseline?
Yes, right by the
I
baseline,
think it was
yeah.
the same night you got the photograph with Britney Spears.
Britney Spears, yeah.
Right?
Us
so
and Britney.
when Andy Garcia was coming back, is it the Founders Room?
Yeah,
It's
the
over there?
Chairman's room. Yeah.
So he's coming back from the chairman's room right as the Lakers hit a three or did something. He happened to be right in front of me, turns around, high five with him. Like,
Nice.
That was money.
Nice.
That made my Lakers.
give me a
career.
hug.
Yeah.
Just a little quick high five with Andy Garcia along the way.
That's not bad.
They coming back, or are they going to finish the show up there?
Let's see. I think they're probably coming back.
I think so too.
I think there's a good chance they come back. But that being said, though, I think the Lakers are up for making this a game in Golden State. Like, the opportunity is in front of them, and LeBron, more than anybody, recognizes what it means to just put this thing to bed.
Yeah, no, he was on the other side of the 3-1 when the obviously what happened with the Cavs, but they just. I'm not doing the full Mike Greenberg where you just don't play the guys. I'm sure you guys saw me. But I do think you need to be very hyper aware of what you're doing with minutes.
Save them for Game 7.
Well, yeah, right.
Maybe not 7, but 6 seems like a much better plan.
Yeah, no, the reality is, I mean, if things get out of control, obviously you
Yeah.
got
That's the
minutes.
question,
But if
though,
you're in the damn thing, you play.
What's out of control, though? You're down 12 with 9 minutes to
No,
go?
that's
You
not out
keep
of control.
Okay,
You
keep playing.
We've
Yeah.
seen them make comebacks from that number
12,
before.
12 points is totally doable.
It is very doable, but it's also likely that you're going to lose. You're likely going to play a bunch more minutes.
You're going to start
There's
getting too cute by
I
half,
agree.
though.
I think that's probably
Like,
the best
you can't-
answer.
There's no such thing as a throwaway game in the playoffs. Like, these all matter. And at some point, if you are that worried about conserving energy, then in all likelihood,
It's going to catch up with you anyways.
you're going to go out at some point anyway.
Right.
Like, you have to play these games for what they are. Like, if you really don't think that LeBron or AD or both have enough energy to get through this series, much less the next 2 rounds, then you're not getting through this series in the next
I
2
want
rounds.
to use that expression, too cute by half. How do I use that expression? What does it actually mean, too cute by half?
Just something that is too clever for its own good.
Too clever for
Like a hat on a
good.
hat?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, sure, like that.
The
like
hat
that.
on a hat.
Yeah, the whole thing.
They got $1 million.
Too cute by half. Too
The
cute by half.
Guns, Piano, and Weed Show coming up next. Super Crosstalks powered by In-N-Out Burger. That's what